knows?
Yeah, that's Ghost, the band Ghost. All right, let's get YouTube going here. Hold on.
We had a very suiting, crazy new Mandela Effect today that was added into the Bible.
Really? That's interesting. One sec here. Hey, YouTube. How you doing? We are about 6 minutes away from going live on Spaced Out Radio tonight. New camera angle. I don't know if I like this one or not, but I think it's better than the last one that we used last night. We're fiddling around with things to make it a little bit brighter and better for you. So I don't know if this one will work or not, but we'll see. We'll try it out. If you don't like it, we'll change it up again. Thank you so much for tuning us in as we prepare for a little bit of warm up before the radio side of the show begins in approximately 5.5 minutes, which is always good. And you get to kind of hang out. Cali, our guest, is here. We're talking Mandela Effect. And
yes, we are.
Yes, we are, damn it. Yes, we are. It's going to be fun. She's a good Saskatchewan girl, so I'll probably have to put my Rough Riders hats on, even though I'm a BC Lions fan. Hey, Cheryl. Cheryl, what's going on? There's my girl, Cheryl. I love her. I do.
Camera angle's looking great.
Yeah. Well, Shayla in the chat room, I know her personally, and what trips me out about her is she is an absolute twin to my daughter. And no relation, no nothing. And she didn't believe me until I showed her a picture of my daughter, and she literally said, "What are you doing with a picture of me? I've never had that color hair before."
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that's totally the twin strangers phenomenon.
Oh, yeah.
They say everybody has seven doppelgangers per person.
Yeah. Hey, Donnie, what's going on? Lori, Treehouse, how you doing? Good to have you in here tonight as we will be talking Mandela Effect with our lovely, talented Canadian guest, Human Carl. There he is. Human Carl. I love Human Carl. Human Carl's good people. We had to name him Human Carl because my alien that came to my window a few years ago while I was broadcasting the show, I nicknamed him Carl. So when Human Carl came around to the chat room, we had to make sure that nobody was trying to steal his title of Carl. So we had to put a human on there. Yeah, we love him. We love him around here. Hey, Roy boy, what's happening? Bigfoot, Michigan Rob. How you doing tonight? Yeah.
Hey, Roy boy, it's good to see you in here.
Yeah. Mala. How you doing? Poetically Mistaken. Good to have you here as well. I'm so glad to be here. Yes. Little Ron Bumblefoot Thal there. Yeah. We're talking Mandela Effect tonight, and we're going to have a good time. Callie's here. She's been in our chat rooms a few times, and she's fun. She's very fun. She's an artiste. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you, everybody, for being here tonight. We're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to be covering Mandela Effect, quantum shifting. We're going to be covering like Palladian channeling. We're going to get right into this glitch in the matrix stuff. CERN, we're covering it tonight.
Oh, yeah. We're going all woo all day. Yeah. We're doing it. 1 second here. I got to get some stuff done for my chat room.
All right, you guys, like and share, subscribe. This is a great channel. Everybody here in the chat is family, and you're going to have a good time. It's guaranteed with Dave Scott here on Spaced Out Radio Live. Yeah,
and Dave, hey, Cable Guy Matt's here. Cable Guy Matt, there he is. Fast Eddie Flathead. How you doing, man? Good to have you here. All right.
Yeah, great to see some friends in the house here. I see some real familiar names, so it's great to have them in here and introduce them to the channel.
Yeah, thank you for that. Appreciate that. All right, so we got the one feed going. We'll have the radio side going here in about a minute or two. Hey, Josh from Oregon, how are you? Beautiful Marie. You know I love you. You know I love you, Marie. Who else we got here? Bill WD40. Good to have you here. Keeping things loose. Did you see how I played that? That was awesome. That was just awesome. Bill WD40, keeping things loose. Oh, yeah. All right. We're about 25 seconds away, 30 seconds away, and then we'll get an intro read for the show, intro to you, and we're off and running. And, yeah. We'll send our final tweet, and then let's go to the radio side. Diddle-a-doo, diddle-a-doo, diddle-a-doo. All right, here we go. 7 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Music's on. Here we go. Let's have some fun tonight. All right, here we go. From the mountains of central British Columbia to you listening around the world, this, my friends, is Spaced Out Radio. I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. We welcome you to tonight's show, including Revolution Radio digitally. If you want to take a listen to our archives, they are free for you at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do old Davey the favor, hit that subscribe button. Our website is spacedoutradio.com. We got a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to some Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire, which is updated daily. Tonight's show is brought to you by Chive Charities. Help make the world 10% happier by visiting Chive Charities today. You can find them on our website. Jennifer Jean Dolynny, also known as Cali, is a studious researcher in futurist topics such as the Mandela Effect, Morgellons disease, and artificial intelligence. Currently working on her first album and releasing her first mixes on her path to becoming one of the world's best house, techno, and electro DJs, Jennifer uses her skills to apply with her experience and expertise in branding and picking domain names for the best possible result on Google with her clients. She has also worked on made-for-TV documentary appearances as an expert in the medical marijuana field, conspiracy theories, ufology, and video gaming as well. Tonight we are focusing on the Mandela Effect, which is going to be a lot of fun because this is something you either believe in or you don't. Is it coincidence, or was there a shift in the timeline? Then at the bottom of hour number 3, I will bring you the SOR Newswire, brought to you by Paranoia Magazine. Let's get to this. Cali, what's going on? How you doing, my fellow Canadian friend?
You know what? I'm doing great. I got to say, lockdown hasn't been that much different for me. I'm one of those, tinfoil hat types. So I've just been hanging out here in the basement like usual.
Oh, yeah. If you're an introvert, like I am, and Captain Shirk, I will tell you this. There is no better feeling than having the rest of the world feel like us right now. And I love it. I do.
Are they feeling like us, though? Because a lot of them are going stir crazy. So you got to ask yourself, I know we enjoy it, but for them, it's kind of similar to torture. They've done some studies on that, isolation.
Very true. Very, very true,
yeah.
And, it's one of those things where I think we're all kind of getting used to it. We may not like it, but, it's what's going on. It's what we have to do as a human species if, we want to do that whole survival thing. So we're just kind of into it right now and just having a good time. And that's why programs like ours are succeeding at the night because while people are stressed out during the day, having to wonder and be bombarded on social media, the mainstream media with everything that's going on, here we get to talk about the woo. We get to get a little bit weird, strange, crazy, and that's what we're going to have fun doing tonight. So how did you get involved with learning about the Mandela Effect?
Well, it's going to blow your mind. Basically, there was a eclipse in 2017. And that's what really woke my mind up to this Mandela effect. I woke up and looked at my buddy, and his eyes were a completely different color. And we just looked at each other, and I go, your eyes aren't brown, they're green. So what we did is we ran to his place, and he was a drill rig operator. So we went through all his medical paperwork, because that's like a high value job. You have like all this medical paperwork every 3 weeks. Every job, you've got a doctor's note. And on all the doctor's notes, we pulled them out, and it said his eye color was brown. But I was staring him in the eyes, and they were bright green, hazel.
Well, that is weird. That is weird. So what changed his eye color?
You know what? That's up for debate, because we don't know if this is quantum shifting. We don't know if this is CERN. We don't know if this is the 5D shift awakening. We have no idea what's going on, parallel realities. So that's what we're going to get into tonight. And we're going to explore a little bit of, a little bit here, a little bit of there.
So when you started going down that path with your friend whose eye color literally changed and they weren't wearing contact lenses, when you started looking into this and started delving into it, how did you go about that? What put you on that path that this was Mandela Effect?
Well, it was pretty much synchronicity, because when I was searching the internet, completely unrelated the next day, the whole Bernstein bears phenomenon came up on just on Google Images. I saw it written wrong, so I Googled it. And what's really interesting about that is the Bernstein bears is now spelled the Bernstein bears. And what changed in this is the EI changed to AI. And I wonder if that is a clue about the Mandela effect, artificial intelligence.
Well, I mean, that's something that we are going to have to try and figure out on our end, because there are a lot of people who believe that there is something really going on with this. There are a number of people who also believe that this is some sort of human mind trickery, because we tend to believe things in packs, and we may have forgotten because other people have forgotten as well. And, there are a number of cases going into this, but let's look into the history of this. When do you think it started?
Well, that's interesting, because the term was coined by Fiona Broome, based on a death of Nelson Mandela. She remembered him dying in the 1980s in prison, where other people remembered him dying in December 2013. And this affected thousands of people. I am not personally affected by it, but I noticed Mandela effects back in my life before I even heard of the Mandela effect. In fact, I lived in a bad neighborhood, and I thought, like, the street lamps used to be green on the top, then yellow, then red. I thought because I lived in a bad neighborhood, they hired some janky construction, when I saw that the red was on top and the green was on the bottom.
See, that's a prairie province thing, because here in British Columbia, it has always been red, yellow, green. Always. Right.
And some people are affected by this. So if it always has been that way for you, it might be a different timeline thing. This was in Arizona,
So as you decided to start picking up all of these little things, they add up. And, at some point you had to reach deep and down inside yourself and say, hey, this is something that I need to personally look at.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I've always been a conspiracy theorist. Back in the day with the 9/11, when I saw that the random number generators were affected, that deeply shook me, because it showed that the human mind actually was connected into reality in one way or the other, because the random number generators, they stopped being random, and that really woke me up.
All right, we have Cali on tonight. She is one of the studious researchers of the Mandela Effect here on Spaced Out Radio. As you started to look through this and get into this, when you go through this type of situation, it usually opens you up to a number of different other scenarios. So what else did you start to look at besides the Mandela Effect?
Well, that's really interesting. It actually kind of took me more out of conspiracy theories, because, I've always been a researcher of, aliens. I've seen UFOs. I have photos of them. I saw that giant green tear in the sky that was down in LA several years ago, that tons of people, including like the famous Jenna Marbles and her boyfriend Julian, which is a huge YouTuber, they posted a video of it. And it was up in the sky for like 45 minutes. So when this happened, I switched more into researching simulation theory, 5D ascension, timelines, just physics in general. And I had gotten really into physics about 2 years before that. And I began to realize that this kind of stuff might actually be possible. But what blew my mind is when my reality actually started to shift around me.
So what changed in your reality?
Well, a lot did. So, Beam Me Up, Scotty. Are you familiar with that one?
Yes.
All right. Well, what if I was to tell you that was never said?
I have heard that rumor before.
Right. That was a weird one for me because my husband's name was Scott. He ran a collectibles marketplace. He customized Star Wars figures, Star Trek. We had every single episode of the Star Trek collection, like the special edition mail order one, sealed on VHS. We were really into it. He has no memory of it. And before that, I'd written a song called that as like a tribute to him. It was like a common like inside joke between us. And then all of a sudden, boom, no memory of it overnight.
Really? Well, that's a little interesting. That's a little interesting. All day I have been trying to figure out which one it is for me that really kind of confuses me. And the biggest one for me is the Ford logo. And
that curly Q.
Yeah, because I actually, and what brought this up was about a year and a half ago, I had a listener of mine. We were doing a show on the Mandela Effect, and he actually sent me a key, and that key does not have the little curly Q on the F, like the Ford logo says they've always had. But here's the other interesting part about this, was the other day, because I'm doing a lot of research right now while watching TV. Yeah, and I say that very facetiously. So I just happened to have the show American Pickers on the other day. And I'm kind of doing my thing and doing my social media stuff that I do daily during this, during the day to keep up to date with what's going on in the world, and kind of have to do that, for what we do here. And anyways, so these guys, if you've ever watched American Pickers, you know what they're like. They go through and they go to people's into, barns and everything that are packed up and trying to, find things, and they offer a bunch of money and so on and so forth. And then they show this Ford sign, and they say, well, hey, dude, how much do you want for that Ford sign? And the Ford sign did not have the curly Q.
Ooh, that is what's called residue. So that's kind of the smoking gun for all of us. Anything that I say that you don't remember, for the most part, about 90% of the things that are remembered by people that are variant memories, there is evidence of it, be it celebrities doing parodies, skits, making fun of certain pop culture references, images, books, and it seems like a certain percentage is left behind, almost like somebody had written an algorithm and had said, if this, then this, change this, but leave 0.02% of it. Because, one of the highly affected things is the Bible and other holy books. And there was somebody who came out who was a leader and a teacher of the Quran who said, we have people in our religion who memorize the words. They're called, I don't recall exactly what they're called, but they're the people who record it in a spoken way. So they recite the Quran, and that's their job, is to memorize it and recite it. So he came out and said, yes, our holy books are changing. The Quran is changing, but we have people who have memorized it. So the word is not changed for us, which I think is really interesting.
All right. And that seems to be very interesting. So what do you think it is? What do you think we are going through right now?
Well, I'm going to bring up a quote from Philip K. Dick in 1977 when he declared that we live in an advanced computer simulation. Here's the quote. He said, "We are living in a computer-programmed reality, and the only clue to it is when some variable is changed and some alteration in our reality occurs."
Okay.
So, personally, I think it's possible that we are living in a computer simulation, because if you look at technology recently, I don't know, have you tried VR headsets at all?
No, I have never tried one.
They are mind-blowing. They're literally mind-blowing. And, you mentioned I'm a gamer. So I started playing video games on the Sega Master System.
Right.
And like 8-bit video games. I remember Pong. I remember all of that. And you compare that to today's videos, which some are barely like, you're watching it and you're like, wow, this is like a good CG movie. Where are things going in the next 20 years? And I think something really important to cover is several years ago, they actually discovered a way to delete and replace memories in animals. They successfully did this. You can look it up on, journals, medical journals, even on government websites. And really recently, Elon Musk came out with his plans for Neuralink. Are you familiar with that?
No, fill us in.
All right. Neuralink is a brain chip. A small hole is made in the brain, and very, very, very thin, like a micron or I think a tenth of a micron fibers are inserted by an artificial, intelligence, managed robot that place these fibers into the brain. And in doing that, in animals, they have successfully transferred memories. So, for example, they took a rat or a mouse and they taught it how to run a maze. Then they transferred the memories for that into the other animal, and it successfully ran the maze on the first try.
Really?
So
that's interesting.
Yeah. So this is where it's fascinating, and this is where they're going in humans. It's incredible technology. So recently, a few years ago, they've been working on a different version of that with other medical branches that work with disabled and paralyzed individuals. And they were able to get somebody who is paralyzed, put in the brain chip, and then bypass the nervous system into the arms. And now that paralyzed individual is able to play Guitar Hero, which I think is just incredible.
That is incredible. See, for me, if I were to look at this, okay, and there is some strange stuff that is going on. I mean, let's just be honest. I think that part of the issue that we're having here is I think there could be a timeline skip somewhere along the lines. Maybe we went through to a different dimension where this stuff was going on, and then all of a sudden, there was some trickery going on, and we flipped to another dimension because it was healthier for humankind. I don't know. I am totally surmising on tinfoil right now. However, when you look at certain things that have happened and taken place, it does make you wonder what's going on. All right. Another one that, I was talking to a friend of mine earlier today about it is the movie Shazam. I totally recall watching, or my buddies and I, talking about this movie Shazam with the actor Sinbad. And I hated Sinbad on the television. I thought he was a terrible comedian. There are certain comedians I just didn't like, Bob Saget, not funny. Ray Romano, not funny. Right? Rosie O'Donnell, not funny. I mean, all the, and I had Sinbad in that same category. And I remember talking to my buddies about this, saying, no, I'm not going to see that. I can't stand that guy on his television show. I'm not going to go. That movie looks so stupid. And then now, 30 years later, to find out that it never happened, it's a little trippy.
And then, completely coincidentally, they released an unrelated movie called Shazam. What was that, last year?
A number of years ago with Shaquille O'Neal.
No, the movie Shazam, they just re-released a movie. It's a superhero movie, as almost to cover up the searches for it.
Really?
It was like a box office hit. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm just wondering, like, I don't know if I buy into the whole 5G aspect. I'm not sure if I buy into the whole CERN aspect, but I do appreciate a good portal story or dimensional shift story every now and again. And I think that's what it could be. I really do.
You know, the Palladian channeling that's been going on, the High Council of Seven, a lot of them have been referring to the 5D shifts, timelines, parallel realities, and actually being able to control your shifting from one place to the other. But I got to tell you, I don't know if I would have picked this route, so I'm not sure how much I buy into that one. I think if we're going to go into D-Wave, I think that is a more pervasive argument than CERN. So CERN is the particle accelerator. And you know what? They've had some really weird videos with occult stuff like, Baphomet, just weird sacrificial stuff, occult dancing, all at the CERN facility. You can look it up. It's the most bizarre thing you've ever seen in your life. And why I think the D-Wave computers might be a little bit more of an interesting revelation into this subject is because the way D-Wave computers work, allegedly, according to the scientists and the physics majors, is by borrowing resources from parallel realities, and basically by tearing a hole in both space and time in order to make our computers faster. And this is public science. This is talked about at all the main quantum physics meetings. It's in TED Talks. It's public and it's mainstream, and it's wild.
Well, we only have about 2.5 minutes here before we're going to go to break at the bottom of the hour. Cali, a.k.a. Jennifer Dolynny, joins us tonight talking Mandela Effect. When we come back after the break, we're going to get into some serious examples that you have been able to find. And I think some of these might turn some heads out there wondering what the heck is really going on. How much do we know, in regards to this entire phenomena? How much do we know that it's just not us misremembering, whether it's Curious George with a tail or not, or things along those lines?
Yeah, we're going to find out, and we're going to explore that together.
Well, we have to. Are we sure it's just not false memory that we're dealing with?
Well, you know what? That's the thing, is the residue. It tells the story. I mean, at the Golden Globes, they called Sex and the City Sex in the City, which it's apparently always been Sex and the City. Why is the Golden Globe saying that wrong? That's something we got to ask. Why did Ed McMahon do a rap video about a job that he never had?
True.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
Hold on. Are you saying that which job are you saying for Ed McMahon?
Ed McMahon works for Publishers Clearinghouse, and now he never did. And now Publishers Clearinghouse never gave out those big checks.
Really?
And it's huge because there actually is a video of, I don't remember the exact celebrity, but he went on, evening, nighttime television talk show, and he presented a check for Ed McMahon, which makes no sense because Ed McMahon allegedly never worked for the Publishers Clearinghouse.
Oh, that one's new to me. That one is completely new to me. Who's saying, we got about 30 seconds left here. Who's saying that he never worked for Publishers Clearinghouse?
Their Publishers Clearinghouse never actually gave out those big checks. It was actually American Family Publishing, I believe. Don't quote me on that, but there's actually a really good commercial that Ed McMahon did about going to people's doors because he's broke and getting those checks back, which makes no sense now. And you can look it up. It's a great residue.
Well, we're going to learn more about this and other weird, strange anomalies with the Mandela Effect. Cali is with us tonight. You can wave at her because she's in Saskatchewan where everything is flat. So just pick up your hand, wave. She'll be able to see you and wave back. More Spaced Out Radio coming up. Mandela Effect coming up next. It's so true. It's so true.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, hold on a second here, dude. This whole Ed McMahon thing is that one. I didn't know about this one. Publishers Clearinghouse.
Yeah.
This one actually made for the Forbes magazine.
I mean, it's wild. If you look up Ed McMahon, there's a video called Big Check, and it's a parody as a casino advertisement where he's literally rapping, rolling around in a van, knocking on these doors, trying to get his checks back, and people are closing the door on his face. So, I mean, why would they do that? Why would they pay that money to get that made if Ed McMahon never did that? It's completely illogical and backwards. This is the residue that I'm talking about. This is our smoking gun.
Well, I'm just reading this article here on this because this one, they have good reporters at Forbes. They say, at the time, Publishers Clearinghouse really didn't make any real effort to correct the misconception because of American Family Publishers. Said it was kind of a blessing. It was free advertising. Since the people thought McMahon was working for us, it certainly didn't hurt us.
And, there are those backtracking stories to kind of explain everything that doesn't make sense. But the fact is if you look at that late night television show, Residue, there's somebody presenting a check on behalf of Ed McMahon.
Strange. Very strange.
Yeah. And, I mean, the rap video is just a riot. Look up the video Big Check. If you can't turn the audio on, just turn on your subtitles there and check it out. I mean, he's straight up knocking on people's doors saying, hey, remember when I gave you that big check in the 80s? Well, hey, I'd like to get that check back. And, they slam the door in his face. But, why would he be doing that if it never happened?
Oh, tell me about it. Tell me about it. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Let's give a shout out to some friends here. Hi, Nachiketa. I hope I pronounced that. Nachiketa. Society's Rejects. There's my friend, Society's Rejects. She might be on the air right now.
Wait, that's me. Yeah.
Friendellas are flat. That's nice.
I see lots of friends in here, dude. This is great.
Make sure you all subscribe to what we are doing here, because we are literally here 7 days a week, and we kind of like doing this. So with your help, we could do that. Who else we got here? PG2424, by the way. Davey's favorite number is 24. Thank you to Bob Probert. Let's see here. Josh from Oregon, we already said. Mandela Mile, how are you? Valiant One, thanks for stopping on in. Oh, there's Human Carl again. The Phenom, Nixa, you're back too. Good. Hey, Chuckles, Renee, thanks for stopping in. Barther L, appreciate that. Really do appreciate you having some fun with us tonight, Barther, wherever you've been hiding out in the Bartle Man Cave. Kingdom of Bart. Alan, good to have you here. Thank you. Let's see here. What else do we got here? Vinster, what's happening, man? Good to have you. Jason, thank you for coming on in. I think that's it. Justin, yeah. Kevin, good to have you here. I think that's good. KH. So, Shanna Banana, she's my friend. She's here. She's here. Lori, I know you're here. I said hi to you earlier. Right. We got about 2 minutes. 2 minutes. 2 minutes to midnight. Hey, Ross, how are you? Mr. Apnea, thank you for coming on in. And, okay. That's 2 nights in a row for you. So what's the plan? Get rid of all the people who remember things the old way? Apparently so. Hey, there's Science Bob and Science Bob's beard, 2 separate entities. We'll give you one of these, Bob, just because we can now. Yeah, we love Science Bob around here. Love Science Bob.
Science Bob?
Science Bob is awesome. And now that he's growing Science Bob's beard, he's got... Oh, yes. Okay. Well, Science Bob...
Wait a second. You cut your beard. You cut your beard.
I didn't cut mine.
Or is it a Mandela effect? Mandela effect, dude.
Come on. I trimmed my beard like a year ago. I can even show you the photos. I even got the clippings. I saved the clippings.
No, I just met you a couple months ago. My mind's blown.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Things are getting shifty.
Oh, yes. Hey, little Ronnie J. What's happening? Fast Eddie. All right, we got about 38 seconds. Look at you guys with all the emojis. Look at you emoji people. You are all emoji people. Uh-huh.
Yeah, I'm big on emojis. I like them. I find it's like a shortcut to like sharing my like absolute affection and love for the YouTube family. Well, they are great.
Burgos, how are you? Hey, we want to remind everybody that a great way to support this show is we do have the super chat open, along with giving us a thumbs up. And if you're brand new here, like many of you are, hit that subscribe button. And our website is spacedoutradio.com. Oh, why did a commercial not launch here? Hold on. What the Sam hell? What happened here?
From the heartlands of Canada to beards around the world, we know how to take care of commercials. Fill your follicles with the Mighty Moose Beard Oil.
Check our website, spacedoutradio.com.
Handmade and 100%
and go from there. Go visit the SOR vault, pick up some swag today.
And hey, use the promo code SOR2019 and get your Mighty Moose Beard Oil today. You can check us out on our website.
Yeah, don't forget to support the channel, guys, by liking and subscribing. Please share this video to your friends. And wake people up to the Mandela Effect. If you don't believe in it, listen anyways and tell us how we're wrong.
Hold on.
We'll let you know.
Welcome back to the second half hour of Spaced Out Radio. Tonight, I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. Thank you so much for joining us. Really, really appreciate that. Reminder to all of you that if you've missed portions of this show or others, you can check out our free archives by going to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do old Davey the favor. Hit that subscribe button. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. Tonight we are talking Mandela Effect. Cali, otherwise known as artist Jean Dolynny, is here. Now, she's from the flatlands of Saskatchewan, where they could see everything and everybody, so make sure you give them a wave. And wave north, east, or west. I don't think there's too many people waving south at you, but just in case, she will wave back. Cali, how you doing?
I'm doing great. We're going to get into some real juicy stuff here.
All right. You blew me away right before the break, dropping the old Ed McMahon Publishers Clearinghouse. I swore that happened. Why are you doing this to me?
Well, you know what? It's here at, here on Spaced Out Radio. All of us are just after the truth. And no matter how much that Band-Aid hurts to rip off, dude, it's just got to happen. We got to find that truth, no matter what kind of rabbit holes we've got to go down.
Well, we got to go down. Tell me about it. What do you think is happening here? Because like most of us, I'm a big fan of trying to remember. I don't think I have that much of a confusing memory, but apparently it may happen.
Yeah. Well, I have this habit of writing everything down. So I've got, just writing stuff down from the past. And a lot of my writing in my journal has not updated with everything else. So I think that's really interesting. So written word has less of a chance of what's called taking the updates. So what taking the updates means is when things in reality switch to a new way and they don't look the way that they are before. And I really, you asked me what's happening there. So I'm going to ask you a question. Have you ever heard of the term deep fake?
Deep state?
Deep fake.
Deep fake, no.
Like false?
No.
Okay. So deep fake is this new technology where they use an app called Face App, and they're able to update old movies and videos to someone else's face using AI.
Okay.
And it's very convincing. One of the trends is taking Nicolas Cage's face and putting it on literally everyone in old movies. So they've updated Arnold Schwarzenegger movies, they've updated Sesame Street, and it looks like Nicolas Cage.
Right.
And it's kind of interesting because it opens up a completely new realm of possibilities to think. If we are in a computer simulation, then reality would be able to be updated. They said that they found ones and zeros in like programming in reality, and with quantum physics and reality being affected by observation, these are all questions we have to ask. But honestly, I don't know what it is. A lot of people think it's God. A lot of people think it's, alien wars, dimensional shifts. A lot of people think it's demons. I mean, that's what we're here to figure out today.
Well, what do you think it is? There's a lot of people who have checked things out in regards to whether, and like you brought up CERN, a lot of people bring up portals, dimensional shifts. People have gone as far as saying that there was some sort of transition at when it came to the 2012 Mayan calendar ending. There's a lot of different theories as to what is going on.
Yeah, there definitely is, and it's really interesting. So, I guess right now we can get into a few more like Mandela effects, and I'm going to ask you something that I think you'll be familiar with.
Okay.
I'm going to ask you, how many people were in the car when JFK got shot?
4. Well, 6. Pardon me.
4.
There were 6 people. Were there not?
Okay.
Because there was JFK and his wife, there was a governor or a senator and his wife in the middle seats, and then the 2 security officers driving and in the passenger seat.
Okay, so that's really interesting. I think we should look to the chat. For me, there was only 3 people in the car, and then it updated to 4, and then it updated to 6. So as I was following the changes, throughout time, the number just kept going up. And it's happened like that for a lot of people. And you know how passionate JFK researchers are. So it doesn't affect everybody. That's the whole thing with this.
Well, there is some debate, too, as to whether or not it was a 4-door car or a 2-door car.
Exactly. And, the amount of seats in the car as well. A lot of people remember 2 rows, not 3.
Interesting.
I guess we can go on to like some Star Wars effects. Are you a Star Wars fan?
Let's go into Star Wars. You're the one driving the ship here. I'm curious to hear the examples.
All right. Okay. So, what color is C-3PO?
Gold.
Okay. What if I was to tell you he's never been all gold? He has a silver leg, like a bright silver leg that has apparently always been there.
See, I don't recall that whatsoever.
It's weird, dude. And, Star Wars is highly affected. Let's see, the famous quote, blank, I am your father.
That would be Luke, I am your father.
James Earl Jones thought so too, but actually now it has never been Luke, I am your father. It is actually no, I am your father.
Well, that is completely interesting.
Strange.
So what else?
I know. I mean,
are there more with Star Wars?
Let's see if we might have to ask the chat on this one. I believe that now Chewbacca was never a Wookiee, and there's some other strange ones like something to do with Chewbacca's medal. We're gonna have to reference some people about this, but there's a lot of Star Wars effects that like just different things that happened in the movie that were behaviors and like scenes that Luke had being switched to Han Solo.
Okay, so I'm just trying to remember here where that's placed in, like at what part.
You know what? I'm not the best person to ask on that one. There's so many of these effects that after a while you're just like, oh my gosh, there's thousands of them. Chewbacca doesn't get a medal, so that's a big one too.
He doesn't.
No.
How do you not give Chewbacca how do you not give Chewbacca a medal?
He deserves it, dude. I don't know. I mean, I feel bad for the guy.
So do I. Almost want to, break down there for a second. My goodness. Give Chewbacca his medal. Give him his medal. Let's do this thing.
All right. So, you know what? I've got a conspiracy theory another one for you.
Okay.
What was the first terror attack on U.S. soil?
The Japanese, World War II.
Oh, okay. So Pearl Harbor?
Pearl Harbor, yes.
Okay. What if I was to tell you, because all of us, I don't know, I was 9/11 truther. So for all of us who were really big in that, we were like, this is the second terror attack on U.S. soil with 9/11. But apparently, the first terror attack on U.S. soil was on July 30th, 1916.
1916, okay.
And that was when German agents destroyed $20 million in military goods. 5 died, hundreds were injured. And the craziest part of this is it damaged the Statue of Liberty. So now, apparently, in this timeline, nobody has ever been to the torch.
Interesting.
And, a lot of people have memories. They said, I went to the torch, my mom went to the torch, and the Statue of Liberty is updated as well. It used to be on Ellis Island, and there's coins in the United States that say Ellis Island on them. They have the Statue of Liberty. And now the Statue of Liberty is actually on Liberty Island. So that was the shift as well.
I don't know my American history well enough to say I understand that one.
Okay, so we're in Canada now. So how about the movie Risky Business?
Right.
Okay. Do you remember the scene? It's highly parodied where, we've got Tom Cruise and he's dancing with his Ray-Bans on. He's got his shirt on and he slides through and he's all kind of in his skivvies.
Yes.
Okay. Do you remember the sunglasses?
Ray-Bans.
He pulls them off. Yes. No Ray-Bans. Ever.
Maybe I was too busy checking out Rebecca De Mornay in that movie.
You know what? It's possible. It's possible.
I'm going to get you to move a little bit closer back to your mic.
All right. Monopoly Man. Does he have a monocle? Yes or no?
I always thought he did.
He has never had a monocle. I guess we've got Curious George. No longer has a tail.
Your sound is going a little bit muffled here. I'm not sure if you're on a headset or not.
All right.
That's better.
Yeah, I've got a headset on. Okay, I accidentally had my finger over the microphone. I apologize.
Yeah, well, that'll do it every time.
Yeah. All right. So some other ones are the Thinker statue. His hand has moved from the top of his head down to his chin. And we've got some real interesting residue there on this one, where people pose in front of the statue in the wrong position, with the statue behind them having changed.
Was he ever on one knee, though? I thought he was always sitting.
Oh, you know what? You're right. He was always sitting.
Yet people keep posing like they're on one knee.
You know what, dude? I think I completely missed that, and I've never actually heard that before. But my grandma had that statue in her house, and now that I'm remembering it, you are 100% correct.
Yes, we solved one. We solved one. There we go. We solved one. All right.
Oh, weird.
I got to bring up in the chat room. Burgo says that Tom Cruise's shirt in Risky Business is now pink and not white.
That is true.
That one I don't.
And all the Halloween costumes of everybody is wearing a white shirt with sunglasses, so they kind of messed that one up.
A bunch of our American listeners are saying that Statue of Liberty has always been on Liberty Island. Ellis Island was where the immigration station took place. They're hammering.
Everybody's got different memories on this.
They're hammering us Canadians right now. Hammering us Canadians.
Well, I lived in the States for, I think, 17 years. So everybody's got different memories. Well, I got a good one for you. How was Jesus Christ murdered in the Bible?
Well, he was put on a cross. The stakes were put into his hands and ankles, and then he was poked by a staff into the kidney area and the side area, so he would bleed out.
So one of the most highly affected things that is affecting a lot of people is the Holy Bible. And in the Bible, it said that there would be a starvation in the Word of God in the end times. And it said, wait until then, until you pour these curses upon the earth. And it said there'd be a great delusion. So now in the Bible, there's no record of Jesus Christ being crucified. Acts 5:30 says, "The God of our fathers raised up Jesus, whom ye slew and hanged on a tree." Acts 13:29 says, "Whom they slew and hanged in a tree." So now there's zero recollection of Jesus Christ being crucified in the KJV, the New International, any of it.
Well, that's a little strange. That one would kind of throw. Yeah. I don't even know how to answer that one. I really don't. I got to look this one up. Jesus. All right. Well, apparently that hasn't changed on Google yet.
If you look up, people still write about Jesus being crucified, but if you go to like any of the Bible websites where you can look up scripture and it has all the different versions of the Bible, if you look up crucified, there might be a couple mentions to it, but in the main part of the Bible where it refers to Jesus's death, it says that he was hanged on a tree, and it also now says, "Cursed is thee who hangs on a tree," and other passages like that.
Wow. Well, I guess that one would depend. I'll argue this one with you because I can do that.
All right.
Okay, I can do that.
Absolutely. I'm ready.
I can argue that one is saying which version of the Bible.
Okay. KJV, New International Version. And, pretty much I went and bought about 40 Bibles, and I was desperately trying to find a version of the Bible that had the words that I remembered before. So some of the new words in the Bible are stuff, college, travelers, pilot, sport, and these are showing up in Bibles from the 1600s. So it's not like, there's nobody who came in and switched your Bible. It's not a translation thing. There's a bunch of emojis in the Bible, the word AI, doctors, nurse, operation, experiment, shot. And it gets even crazier. Today, there was a new Mandela Effect that got posted, and I grabbed my Bible and I opened it up. And I don't know if you guys watched Ancient Aliens, but, I was a huge fan of that. I definitely followed all the history with the aliens, and I looked for any proof in any kind of scripture that I could, any religion, even Egyptian, anything that referenced aliens. And, I was pretty read up on that. And now in the Bible, and I think we would have heard of this. It says, "The sons of the alien shall be your plowmen," in KJV. It says in Isaiah, it says in Hebrews 11:34, "Quench the violence of fire, turn to fight the armies of aliens." This is right here in Exodus 34:19. It says, all that openeth the matrix is mine."
Interesting. So I just pulled up this article from 2010 that says Swedish theologian Gunnar Samuelsson argues that the cross Jesus supposedly died on may not have actually been a cross. And he believes that something called a studious was a Greek name for a cross or pole or something. He said, I could call it an execution device only to be from the common notion that it must be a cross, because it mustn't be a cross. It could be a pole, for instance, or a tree trunk or something else.
Yeah, I didn't learn that in Catholic school. But we can go to another one. Are you familiar with Isaiah 11:6?
No. Fill us in.
What animal lay with the lion? The lion will lay with the blank.
Isn't it the lamb?
Yes, but now it says that the lion will lay with the wolf. And why this is really interesting is because the wolf in like spirit animals and animal totems actually represents deception. So the lamb has changed to the wolf.
Well, that doesn't seem very fair.
We've got other weird stuff in there. Lactating men, like over a dozen counts of the word unicorn, and even statues like the statue of Moses. I believe it was done by Michelangelo. Don't quote me on that. But those statues now have demon horns on them. And you can look up the photos of those. The statues of Moses now have horns.
I don't ever recall that one.
It's weird, dude. A lot of art has changed. Like, the Mona Lisa?
Yes.
In my experience, she was never smiling. And I studied the golden ratio extensively. And that's, perfection in nature. You see it in a seashell. You see it, in mathematics. And some plastic surgeons made this mask called the golden ratio mask. And they used it to lay over top of people's faces. And then they would, fix the features to kind of fit that template.
Right.
And one of the only examples that fit was, Nefertiti, but also the Mona Lisa. But the thing about this mask is it doesn't work unless you have a completely straight face. So now that she's smiling, the golden ratio doesn't apply to her anymore. And if we know anything about his art, we know that he ritualistically used the golden ratio. But now the golden ratio is vanishing from this timeline of his art. It's incredible.
Well, it comes down to it, okay, because that's an important piece, because that's one of the greatest paintings of all time. And, I have no intention of ever going to France because I'm not a history buff, but I would love to go to the Louvre to see that painting. I think there's a lot of people out there that would, as we only got about a minute and a little over a minute left before we got to go to break at the top of the hour. But in regards to this, how does this just slip by? How does this happen where all of a sudden what we know is truly changing?
All we can do is say that it is changing. A lot of people think that this is God. They think it's the 5D ascension. They think that we're being woken up. And, it's definitely a really personal thing. I mean, I saw a video of a husband and wife saying, my husband hated ketchup and I loved it. And now it's backwards. So who knows what this is? I mean, we can only speculate for now. If anybody has any answers, I'm willing to listen, but until then, I'm going to keep researching.
Well, that's all we can do. That's all we can do. And, these symptoms and these Mandela effects just keep popping up. And they are, I wouldn't say they're obtrusive or anything like that, but for many, they're tough to believe. For others, they are buying right into it. What is your thoughts? If you're in one of our chat rooms or on Twitter at #SpacedOutRadio, let us know. That's the interesting part of tonight, the Mandela Effect. Cali here, researcher into it, YouTuber, writer, musician. She's breaking it all down for us. Hour number 2 with your questions as well. Now, if you're in one of our chat rooms or Twitter, make sure you put your questions in capital letters, and we'll get them on to Cali here in hour 2. Stay tuned. More Spaced Out Radio coming up. All right. I'm going to quickly run my dog outside. I will be back in a couple seconds for you on YouTube. We're going to play some commercials. Cali, you stay nice and quiet or put your phone on mute until I get back.
Excellent.
All right. I'll be right back.
Party is always on at the Moose Vancouver. The Moose Vancouver is where you want to be when visiting Canada's West Coast. Open until 2 a.m. nightly, the Moose cranks up the rock while serving some of the best rated food in the city. The menu starts at $6.95. Why party anywhere else in Vancouver when the Moose is right there? Get your horns up and rock with the Moose, the official party bar of Spaced Out Radio.
We all know on Spaced Out Radio we love a good beard and mustache, so why not take care of your facial hair with Mighty Moose Beard Oil? Made in Canada, we're taking care of beards and stashes around the world. We use 100% natural ingredients with our oils and balms to make your whiskers feel silky smooth. Use promo code SOR2019 at mightymoosebeard.com today.
Visit purpleplates.com today. For over 40 years, the Purple Energy Plates have been delivering amazing results for their many customers. Inspired by the great genius Nikola Tesla, the harmony, healing, and energetic effects of the plates have proven over and over to be beneficial and often miraculous to thousands of customers. Check their site for daily specials and choose from their many energy products. You won't be sorry. Visit them today at purpleplates.com.
Hi, this is Amber Beckrud, and I want to invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel where we store all of the SOR show archives for free. And as an added bonus, every 2 weeks I'm posting brand new content on Cryptid Tales, where I will get into some of the spookier legends and folklore from around the world and tell the stories that go with them. Find us at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio and check out Cryptid Tales today. Drop a comment and let me know what you want to hear. See you there. The SOR Vault is open for business, and do we have some cool swag for you to pick up? All you have to do is head over to our website and click on the SOR Vault. You have a variety of cool logos to choose from, and put them on anything you want. T-shirts, hoodies, hats, coffee mugs, you name it, we can get it to you. So do your shopping by supporting the store you love. Get your Spaced Out Radio swag at the SOR Vault today.
For the price of 1 cup of coffee a month, you can become an SOR Space Traveler. The Space Travelers Club is a place where you can interact with other listeners, either live during the show or on our great forum. We want your stories, pictures, comments, and ideas. You'll get live video streams, exclusive content, and be a part of our newsletter. Stay in touch with everything SOR. The Space Travelers Club is just $5 a month at spacedoutradio.com.
Are you an experiencer of something strange that can't be explained? Do you want help finding out what's going on? I'm Ryan Stacy, head of the Experiencer Support Association, otherwise known as TESSA. We've teamed up with Spaced Out Radio to investigate cases filled out in the SOR Sightlines report. We are independent and there's no cost to what we do. All we need is your experience. Let's find out what's happening together on the SOR Sightlines report.
Hello, Space Travelers. It's me again, Carl. Don't forget to join the Space Travelers Club for just $5 a month and follow Spaced Out Radio on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio. Our Instagram, Dave Scott SOR. Our Facebook page is Spaced Out Radio Show. Our archives are free at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Come woo it up with Spaced Out Radio today. Bye.
All right, I am back.
Welcome back.
Oh, thanks. Thank you.
I've got a correction. I got a little bit nervous there when I said that the lamb laid with the wolf. It's actually the wolf lays with the lamb.
Oh, okay.
That's Isaiah 11:6 is now the wolf lays with the lamb.
All right.
Just the lion.
You can just correct yourself on the air there, so in that way people know.
I am so happy to see so many of my friends here. Thank you for coming out and supporting me and the channel.
Yes, that is kind of awesome. And you're introducing your listeners to us too, which we highly appreciate. Thank you so much if you're tuning us in for the first time to hear Cali. And hopefully it's not your last time. Hopefully you come on around a little bit more often to check out what we do as well, because we are here 7 days a week, 5 days a week on YouTube, Monday through Friday. And then on the weekends, you can tune in at spacedoutradio.com, because that's the way we like to do it around here. We got a couple minutes.
And like and subscribe, guys, if you haven't already. Smash that like button.
Smash it. Smash it. Yes, smash it.
Woo-hoo!
Since when is the alien named Carl? It was always Jeffrey before tonight. Thank you, Barther. Thank you, Barther. All right.
I know Alan is here in Saskatchewan with me.
Oh,
and,
yes.
He's a frequent. I was shocked he had never heard of the show, so I think he's probably going to be a big fan from now on. This is completely up his alley, so I'm really glad.
Well, for anybody listening in Ontario, as of Monday night, we will be broadcasting on Saga 960 as well. So that's our first Canadian affiliate that we have coming on up here, which is pretty darn cool. You know, to finally add some Canadian content on here.
Woo!
Yes.
I thought we were.
Go ahead.
I thought we were live in Canada. Yeah, I thought we were live in Canada. So where are we? Where are we live right now?
We are live on 5 different stations across the U.S. and soon to be 1 in Canada. We're getting there.
Yay!
We're getting there. We got about 30 seconds left. So bear with us.
That's awesome.
Bear with us. We're almost there. We are almost there. You know, I was watching Toy Story the other night with my son. And what really tripped me out about Toy Story is if you equated Andy, he would be 32 years old this year. How's that for making you feel old?
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
My mind is blown.
Andy is 32. Yeah. All right, here we go. Music is on.
You're listening to Spaced Out Radio with Dave Scott. Follow Dave on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Facebook, Spaced Out Radio Show.
Hour number 2 of Spaced Out Radio is underway tonight. I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. Thank you so much for joining us. We welcome back everyone listening in on our terrestrial affiliates, along with the digital side on Revolution Radio. Remember, you can check out all of our archives at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do old Davey the favor. Hit that subscribe button. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. Obfuscate. Obfuscate is your password. Use it wisely, space travelers, as the Clam sets the password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. Our website is spacedoutradio.com. We got a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. Tonight we are talking Mandela Effect because it's one of those little strange phenomena that many people believe something has changed in our society, while others will say, yeah, you just didn't remember it correctly. Breaking it all down is Cali, as she is a researcher into this. And Cali, we really appreciate it. I forgot to mention your YouTube channel. Give it a shout out, if you don't mind.
All right. You guys can follow me on YouTube. My username is Society's Rejects. And you guys can follow me on Twitter as well at Sexy Gamer.
Well, perfect. Perfect. We appreciate that. And she is from Saskatchewan, so make sure you all wave because she will be able to see you. It's nice and flat there.
I'm waving back, guys.
Hey, I got to ask you a question. In regards to Mandela Effect, do we have any examples from music?
Oh, my gosh. That is a really, 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 really great topic with the Mandela Effect. So there's something called a flip-flop. And there's been so many things going on with music, but one of the things that has been happening that make people think that, we're flip-flopping back and forth in between different timelines. There's been a dimensional rift, like a rift, and that Queen song, "We Are the Champions." You familiar with that one?
Yes.
Okay. How does that song end?
It ends, "We Are the Champions," but on recording, Freddie Mercury never said "of the world," but live, he did.
That's strange because I had the studio recordings of Jock Rock, and I think that was track number 2, and I played it to death, and myself and a lot of other people remember "of the world" at the end.
Yeah, I know. On the actual album. Yeah, because I checked into this one because I thought the same thing, and I remember hearing it on a live album. I think they were playing it, somewhere in England, and at the end he said "of the world." So I've heard both, but on the recordings I don't think it was there.
That's different for everybody. For me, it was definitely there. A lot of people say the same thing. Another one is in Michael Jackson's Thriller. So at the beginning of the video, like that iconic video for Thriller?
Yes. Scared the daylights out of me as a kid.
Oh, it's wild, dude. It's a great video. It's classic. And at the beginning of the video, there's a new word in there that some people just don't remember. And that video, the word is y'all. So in the beginning, the announcer guy who's introducing the video says the word y'all. A lot of people don't remember it.
I don't recall that at all.
It's a weird word for that time period, right? And especially for, his background and everything. It's just weird.
That is something I will have to check out. I really do not recall that.
It's super strange. And one of the weird things with this, like I said, are the flip-flops, because we can get into music a little bit more, like Jules' video, like "Who Will Save Your Soul?" In the video has actually changed to souls. So that makes it a lot more creepy. Who will save your soul? Ah!
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that one's a little strange because I always thought it was soul. Like, we don't have multiple souls, Jewel. Like, come on here. What are you trying to do?
Well, yeah, it's like talking about everybody. I look at it almost like a threat. It freaks me out. I got goosebumps, dude. Ooh. All right, I pulled up the Michael Jackson Thriller video 1983 lyrics. Here's the narration. "Darkness falls across the land. The midnight hour is close at hand. Creatures crawl in search of blood to terrorize y'all's neighborhood."
I never knew that lyric was in there.
Yeah, it's super, super strange. Just really weird.
Completely.
Yeah, and there have been might have to call in the chat on Spaced Out Radio Online here. Here's a really good one. "Sweet dreams are made of blank."
This.
Okay, so for me, it was these. And it was "Sweet dreams are made of these," And what was interesting is when this Mandela Effect came out, it was still these in the Marilyn Manson video. And then about 6 months to a year later, it also changed to this. So the Marilyn Manson video actually used to be what was called residue for this.
Okay, define this residue for people who may not understand.
Okay, so residue is something that is evidence of the way that something was before. So like Ed McMahon saying he works for Publishers Clearinghouse, or James Earl Jones saying that it was Luke, I am your father. And the same thing with several other actors from Star Wars call out like the iconic Luke, I am your father, when in reality that was never said. It was just, no, I am your father. Other residue includes, there's a lot of maps out there that have a place visible still called Arctica, but all current maps, for the most part, with the exception of a very few and some children's books, don't have a North Pole. So where did Santa live?
Well, of course there's a North Pole. That's scientifically proven.
Well, here's what's interesting. You know Antarctica?
Yes.
Okay, well, having an Antarctica infers that there's an Arctica.
Well, an Arctic.
Right, but when I was a child, I had like a lot of scientists in my family. And my aunt's friend actually, they went out on an excavation. They went out to the North Pole to take soil samples. And in my memory, there was a continent there. But now there's not. And they're saying that Santa either lives in Svalbard, which is a new place to me and a lot of people, or Santa lives in Alaska.
When he's Canadian. His North Pole is in Canada, most of it. Just saying.
Yeah, I mean,
we're making claim to that.
Remember completely. Yeah, you know what? We own Santa. Deal with it.
Exactly.
Fruit of the Loom underwear. Do you remember what was behind the pile of fruit on your little underwear tag?
I'm not gonna lie, I never really looked that closely.
Okay, well, you know what? My parents always bought me Fruit of the Loom underwear when I was a little kid. And I always thought, what is this weird thing? It's a cornucopia. There was like this,
right?
Basically the things you have at Thanksgiving. Yeah. But now there is no evidence that there was a cornucopia behind the fruit on the Fruit of the Loom logo, but tons of other people remember it.
Now that is strange. That is okay. So now that you mention that, I feel I remember that, because something was holding onto the fruit.
Yes, exactly. The cornucopia, the fruit was kind of spilling out of it. It was like this, like almost like taupe, kind of like a creamish orange color in the background. And now there's just a pile of fruit. Very strange.
That one intrigues me. Cornucopia there.
It's.
I should check I'm a Hanes guy. So damn, Fruit of the Loom stuff. I just never paid attention to it.
So are you a Monty Python fan?
Not the biggest one. If it's on, I'll watch it. But I never really jumped into the entire, I never really jumped into it as deep as other people did.
All right. Well, there's this video with Carl Sagan, and he's teaching a school, classroom, and he's got like this image of the galaxy up, and he's pointing at the galaxy, and he's showing the Milky Way, and he points to an outer spiral arm, and he says, this is where we're located on the outside, right here. And a lot of us have a memory of the Earth being located in the Sagittarius arm. Carl Sagan remembers it, and there's a video of him stating that. Neil deGrasse Tyson states that we're located in the Sagittarius arm. And this is somebody who doesn't believe in the Mandela Effect, but there's videos of him saying that we are located in the Sagittarius arm of the sky. And the Monty Python Galaxy song says that we're living in an outer spiral arm. And that's in the song. So there's the residue for that. But apparently now we're living in closer to the middle of the Milky Way. Very weird.
Some of these I just don't know how to respond to. I'm not trying to be silent and rude here. I'm just trying to figure some of these out because it's looking very, very intriguing when it comes to this entire topic.
It's mind-blowing. And there have been a lot of people who just they were convinced this was false memory. And eventually, one just hits them and they don't go back. They say, you know what, I'm not affected by these other ones. In fact, there's a channel that I listen to quite often, and that's The Real News Online with Brian Stavely. And he's got an entire series, and I mean a series of videos that are so interesting. I believe he was going through a drive-thru with his boss, and they looked up at this sign, and the name of their town had changed. And they kind of look at each other and go, what? So he spent the next couple months calling every single organization in the neighborhood, talking to Uber drivers and asking them the name of the location where they were located. And they all said the name that the town was before. Nobody had taken the update. He even got them on the line, like recordings of it, saying, well, go outside, look at the sign, and tell me what it says. And he's got all these just audio files of these people being completely dumbfounded. Uber drivers, everybody.
And how long ago was this?
This was a couple years ago, I believe. I can look it up exactly, but he's got all the files there. He's got a great Mandela Effect shortlist where all this residue stuff he goes through, and he shows all the evidence for the different stuff. Like, here's a good one. I believe it was it Everybody Loves Raymond? It might have been Golden Girls, old ladies, gray hair. But they've got a clip of her answering the phone. And sitcoms really help with just exposing some of these truths. And she answers the phone. And I believe someone was prank calling her, but her response was, oh, Ed McMahon has a big check for me? I won the $1 million? Wow. And, then there's one of the other highly affected ones, coincidentally, The Truman Show is associated with this, and a bunch of other really interesting movies that have to do with these weird, esoteric subjects. But they've got, Jim Carrey saying, talking about the Monopoly man having a monocle and coming in, doing the parody of the Monopoly guy with a monocle, which he never had one.
Right.
And, it goes even deeper. They've got professional wrestlers referring to other wrestlers, and he goes, oh man, you came in here, you were so rolling in money from selling those t-shirts that, you came in like the Monopoly man. You got a top hat and a monocle. And why would they say that?
I just think we always thought he did. I got a question coming from one of our chat rooms here from, okay. Does false memory have such detail of situation and emotion?
That's a really interesting question. And I have to be completely open here. Like I brought up earlier, they have successfully replaced memories in animals. And if it wasn't for the residue, I would say, I don't know, right? Because if memory can be replaced in animals over 6 years ago and they have medical journals on it, how would I know somebody isn't changing my memory? I don't know about the conspiracy technology or what's public, but the fact is you can find residue. One of my favorite things to do is go to the thrift store and just, code through old books and old magazines and anything I can. And you do find residue, or, watch 80s TV shows, and you'll find things and people referring to things that just don't exist. And, those of us who...
Go ahead.
Those of us who are affected by this really do have super strong emotions related to this stuff. Like I talked about earlier with my husband's name being Scott. Beam Me Up Scotty was a big thing for us. I mean, he owned a Star Wars collectible store. That was huge. We were constantly screaming, Luke, I am your father at each other. I went to conventions. Like I would go to, Phoenix Comic-Con, San Diego Comic-Con, and we did the circuit. I went to PAX, and that was just a common thing you would do. People would dress up and they would scream, Luke, I am your father. Like, you have emotions about this stuff. It's your life. You have these memories.
I don't know really how to even respond to that, because I don't know if they're just screenshots or we've heard it before, right? I don't know. This is my confusion on the topic. I mean, there's things out there that I find incredibly strange, all right? And yet there are topics out there that I just went, like give you an example. Joe, who's been listening to this show for almost 5 years, he just went on Google, pulled up the Fruit of the Loom, and the first thing it shows is the cornucopia being there. And,
that's residue.
It's residue.
Yeah. So the residue is stuff that people have either found evidence of or is reproduced. But if you go to Logopedia and you look up Fruit of the Loom, unless it's flip-flopped, you should see that there never was a cornucopia. But the evidence is there for you to find, and you can find it in tangible reality. You can go through your books. For example, a lot of people remember South America being more underneath North America, but now the edge of South America is actually touching Florida, and the direction of the Panama Canal has changed, and it's also almost into the ocean.
It is very weird. That one I do recall, because on the old maps, like when I was in school, not that I'm ancient or anything. I mean, I'm not as old as some of our listeners, but I do recall on the maps that South America was more or the entire North America, South America was kind of almost like a straight line, almost all the way down from British Columbia straight down to Chile.
Yeah, and there's some other weird stuff about the maps. I don't remember, I remember Kamloops was on the mainland. A lot of people don't remember that, but in my memory, it was. And Vancouver Island wasn't cut out into the States. It was actually higher on the coast, and you took the ferry. I've been there a bunch of times, and I remember you could take a couple-hour ferry from Seattle, but I don't remember basically Vancouver Island cutting into the U.S. There's some other geographic changes, like Antarctica no longer being there, no ice cap on the North Pole. It's vanished from Google Maps. Very strange stuff. A lot of people remember this place, but for me, Madagascar was only in Disney movies, and not a lot of people agree with that one. But for me, Madagascar was not a real place. Australia, the shape of it has changed. Even Italy is, looking less like a boot and more of a high heel. So there's new locations on the map, like Svalbard, and new islands showing up. Cuba, I used to have a friend that lived there. It was quite a small place. Those islands are just growing and growing and growing, and the shape of the continents are changing. And there was prophecy about this. There is prophecy about this in the Bible. It said that, mountains would be thrown into the seas would disappear. And, I'm not a huge, I haven't been religious. I've been a truther. I've been, an alien conspiracy theorist most of my life.
Oh, we love some good aliens around here.
I've been to the alien conventions. I met George Norrie. I'm buddies with Mike Barra. Face on Mars. If you guys haven't checked that out, it's a great book. And that's where most of my interest lied until this Mandela Effect thing happened. And now it's just sitting back and just watching reality change and going, what's next?
Oh yes, George Norrie, best mustache in radio, right there. Best mustache in radio. And on that note, we are going to take a break here at the bottom of the hour. Mandela Effect Talk continues with Cali right after this on Spaced Out Radio. Are you convinced that there's been some sort of shift? We'll have to see as we continue right after this on the Mighty SOR. All right, we're clear. Hey, D. McKenna, how you doing? Nikki, hi, how are you? Chris Moe, good to have you here. The whole thing just went off into left field with a hockey stick. You're a hockey stick, Joe, but your hair looks fantastic. I actually have a Mandela Effect of Joe's beard in my studio here. Toddler Mommy 83, welcome to Spaced Out Radio. Yeah, I actually he had a beautiful beard, and I said send it to me, and he actually sent it to me. So yes, you got the power. I have Joe's beard in my studio here. Did you mix it with your beard, or you keep it separate for posterity? No. Okay. I kept it separate. I mean, you can't. It was the perfect beard, so you can't really, mess with it. Yeah, I'm weird that way. Okay, I am. So, anybody else has a beard out there that they want to shave? I'll send it to me. I'll put it in my studio here. All right, guys, I'm sending a super sticker right now. I just want to remind you guys, if you want to support the channel, it's greatly appreciated. You do that by clicking send a super sticker, or you can go to spacedoutradio.com and purchase your amazing Spaced Out Radio merchandise. Greatly appreciated. If that's not feasible for you right now, I highly recommend that you smash that like button, share the video, and let people know about this amazing station. They cover all sorts of topics, and we love it. It is awesome. It is awesome. I appreciate that. I do. Alan Holman sent a super chat earlier. I want to thank my buddy Alan Holman there. Yeah, thank you, Alan Holman. Let's give him a clap. I like a good clap every now and again. Good old Alan Holman right there. Good Saskatchewan kid. You can find him in section 23, row 5, seat 4, with the watermelon on his head at every Rough Riders game. Oh, look at you, super fan. Thank you. I appreciate that. You didn't have to do that. Yeah, we got to keep this truth thing going, dude. Got to support it. You got to, when you believe in something, you got to get back, and you got to, support the things you believe in, because it really does make a difference. Well, thank you. And then, more people will wake up, more people will find out about the channel, and, the truth, that's what's important. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay, you sent me a bunch of photos. What's with the pink plane? Okay, it's less about the color of the plane. Uh-huh. Look at the engines. Yes. A lot of people remember the engines being behind the wing, like underneath it. Yeah, that was and now the engines are almost completely in front of it. No, look up any plane throughout history. They've always been in front of the wing. Weird. Very weird. Oh, Alan liked his clap. You're welcome, Alan. 405er, welcome to Spaced Out Radio. Dr. Alcom, welcome. Thank you for joining us. Really appreciate it. Renee Cruz says, Inception movie, the van took forever to fall off the bridge, Adjustment Bureau, and Dark City. Those definitely are applicable to what's going on right now. I never get anything good like that happen. I just get aliens at my window. Dude, I've ran into the aliens too. And I got to say, maybe all my research, they came and got me, but a lot more people have been experiencing paranormal, reptilians, all that stuff since this Mandela Effect started. Even people who just, aren't into that kind of thing. Shapeshifters. Oh, yeah, the old shapeshifters. Them bastards will get you every time. The majority of the ones that I ran into, I got to say, they were more like the Joker archetype. Like, Carl Jung, yes. Alan Watts dictated yes. that Joker. They're just, they're messing with you, dude. They didn't harm me. They just,
they severely mess with you.
Have you
got a sense of humor.
ever been taken? Be honest.
I haven't.
Be honest.
I did get chased by orbs for several hours, and then they stopped running after me when I would put one hand over my eye, because I saw the shapeshifters were doing that, and it was a weird experience, dude. It was real weird.
Wait until you get taken. Wait until you get taken. Then the fun begins.
No thanks, dude.
Then you get then the fun begins. Come on.
No, dude, I had him breaking into my house for months, so we're done. No more.
If you had aliens breaking into your house, dude, you got taken. If you got aliens, you've been taken. Like Joe in the chat room here. Okay, he's got aliens. He refuses to admit he's got aliens, but he's got aliens. By the way, we do have "You've Got Aliens" T-shirts in the SOR vault on our website right now. You've got aliens.
Oh man, dude.
Yeah.
I left the country, man. I just wanted them to leave me alone. I mean, thankfully they didn't follow me to Saskatchewan. It's too cold for them. I don't know.
Barther, I have not been Whitleyd. I have not been Whitleyd, for the record. I have been taken, but I have not been Whitleyd. All right, here we go.
You got taken.
Oh yeah, I've been taken
radio
5 times that I recall.
Oh man.
All right, why do I know? I just put the new commercial in. Why the hell is this not running?
From the heartlands of Canada to beards around the world, we know how to take care of you. Fill your follicles with the Mighty Moose Beard Oil.
Anytime you talk about the Mandela Effect, one of the most common things we have happen is technological issues, crashes, broken cell phones, and it's the risk.
One second here. Joe, you do have aliens. Stop denying it. You have owls who turn into aliens. You got the aliens. You got Bigfoot too. Here we go. We pass the halfway point of Spaced Out Radio tonight. I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. Oh, sometimes comments crack me up. Oh, thank you, Barther, on our YouTube chat. He got me. He said he was going to get me. He got me. Anyways, I want to remind all of you that if you've missed portions of this show or others, you can check out our free archives at youtube.com/spaced out radio. Just do old Davey the favor, hit that subscribe button. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and doing a little shopping and reading at the SOR Newswire. Tonight we're talking Mandela Effect. Researcher, YouTuber, Cali is with us tonight going through all of this. Cali, welcome back.
All right. What about those Spaced Out Radio t-shirts? We got aliens?
Oh yeah, you got aliens. You got aliens. That's the perfect thing, man. You got aliens. It all works for me. It all works for me. Oh, you know what? You know when you get your regulars who have been around for a while in the chat rooms and they just say things just to make you laugh sometimes. That's what I'm having right now. That's what. Oh my gosh. Oh, sometimes. Oh, they're making me lose it tonight.
Though, right? We need to.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
Lighten the mood a little bit, because this stuff is serious. It's real. It's wild, dude.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Well, what do you think? Mandela Effect have anything to do with aliens?
You know what? I've noticed that the percentage of people having experiences with aliens has been huge, and as somebody who follows the Palladian channeling and all that stuff like that, different people that channel messages from Doctrine Council and all this stuff, light beings, starseeds, the High Council of Seven, they called this well before it was going to happen. They called, actually scary stuff, dude. I've got goosebumps. They called, a shift into a different resonant frequency, timelines, parallel realities, ascension, and even ascension symptoms that a lot of people are having, like ringing in the ears, deja vu. And people think it's associated with this whole Mandela Effect thing. And, I don't know what to think. Things have changed.
Really? So with that, with that, I got to stop reading the chat room right now. I have to. Yeah, go ahead.
Let's get into some anatomy changes.
Okay, let's do that.
All right. So this one, people have been taking the update. And, you know, I was one of those little goth kids, you know.
Right.
I would, you know, sit in my room. I had a mohawk. I had, like, you know, the nose ring. I worked in a piercing shop. You know, I was this little rebel. And, you know, I was really, like, kind of moody and goth. And, you know, starting really young, I would draw, like, pictures of the skeleton in, you know, the classroom. You know how we didn't have an actual skeleton, but we had a cutout of them on the wall. And, you know, I would draw it over and over and over again. And I would read, like, medical textbooks, all that kind of stuff. I was really fascinated with. I was told by my art teacher it would make me a better artist. And I'm going to ask you, where is the heart located in your body? I'm going to ask the chat as well.
Isn't it sort of center on the left side, center left?
All right. So there's a lot of residue for this one, especially art. The heart has been inching from the left side into the center. It's grown in size. It has more intakes and outtakes. And now it is it's kind of, the bottom of it is kind of pointed to the left, but it's basically completely in the center of the chest now. And, you know in movies where, like, somebody has a heart attack?
Yes.
Okay. Well, if you watch, like, you know, movies from the 80s and, like, you know, the 90s, if somebody's, like, having a heart attack or pretending that they have a heart attack, they grab their shirt on the left side and they put their hands over their heart. And it's because, you know, the heart was on the left side, but now the heart is, you know, it's a lot bigger. It's, like, upgraded. So this is the first of the physical effects I'm going to talk about. But what's really interesting about this is it's like our bodies are getting upgraded. They're stronger. They're more advanced. They're hardier. And that, to me, is super fascinating.
So you're saying that the heart moved over?
It moved to the center of the chest.
Okay, in all of us?
Everybody. And, you know, there's some really good videos if somebody wants to do their research on this. You can look it up. There's several nurses that didn't take the update. That's what it's called. You know, if you're in an industry and you don't remember, you know, like the new way, you remember the way it was before, that's considered not taking the update. And a lot of people say that if you're really, like, involved in an industry, that you'll get the new information so you don't mess up. But there are nurses that did interviews and have photos and all this stuff of the way that physiology used to be, and they're shocked by it.
Really?
Yeah, and, you know, there's more too. About, I think was it 2 years ago or a year ago? I'm going to have to look this up. But Time Magazine and some other major players came out with an article about 2 new organs found in the human body. And they were just stating, you know what, we never saw them before. Oops, there's 2 new organs. And that was on March 28, 2018. The independent.co.uk news in the health section said, the interstitium is a new organ discovered in the human body. That was only one of 2 around the same time. And the new organ, they say, was hiding in plain sight. And that wasn't the only new organ that they had found around that time. They found, I believe, the ilidium, the interstitium. Don't get too upset if I'm not pronouncing this one right. And then there was a third. What was that one again? The third one is like a moving organ that travels throughout your body underneath the skin that they said was silica based, basically like almost like a silicone. And apparently its purpose is to move tumors throughout the tissue. It kind of melts anything it travels through on its path. And this was found in Time Magazine, The Independent, National Geographic, popular science. And it had a lot of us just shaking our heads and dropping our jaw. CNN.com. New organ to be the biggest in your body.
Very interesting. Very, very interesting. Now, this obviously got the name Mandela Effect from Nelson Mandela, who many people believe passed away in the 90s while still in jail, but on our timeline really didn't pass until 2013. How does this affect outside?
So what do you remember?
I remember him? I remember him being in jail. I remember when apartheid collapsed, thank goodness, down in South Africa, that he was released, and then he won the election. That's what I believe.
Interesting. See, you know what? I wasn't really into American politics at the time, so that wasn't in the forefront for me.
It was South Africa. I got to correct you there, hon.
No. Yeah, absolutely. But it was something that was completely, you're 100% right. But I wasn't into politics anywhere. And I think it was a big deal what was going on there with the Americans, because, they were really getting involved. Like, a lot of things I didn't hear about until I went to the States. And maybe that's because, our news is more positive here. We got a lot more fluff stories on the news here than we do in the States. It's really strange. I don't know pretty much anything about world news at the time. I'm just going to come completely clean. But I can tell you this, that a lot of people are affected by it.
Okay.
And they're shocked. And another one that goes along the lines of that is the Tank Man.
That's in China.
I remember him getting run over, but now he crawls over the tank. So that's.
See, I recall him getting whisked off, that he stopped the tank. All right. And then he got whisked off. And there's actually been documentaries about this gentleman because nobody knows what happened to him. Now, we can all surmise. We can all surmise what happened to him, considering that the local communist government really doesn't like that kind of stuff when people try to think for themselves. However,
there's some scary stuff recently with the coronavirus where people were reporting on it down in Wuhan, and they had videos of, the government coming and knocking on their door and telling them to go online, say sorry, and then a few days later they vanish. And that's terrifying.
Yeah. That's where things get a little bit scary. I got a question coming in from Chris for you. And let me just scroll. Okay. He is asking, have you found any changes to logic and math with the Mandela Effect?
Yes. So I forget which number exactly, but pi was like 314,159,265. And somewhere in between number like 13 and 20, one of the numbers had changed. And I had it written on the wall at the property I'd sold. And then I wrote it on the wall because I noticed things were changing. And I'm like, what's next? Is pi going to change? And, I really wish I would have brought that with me. But
did pi change?
It did. I'm sure you can find residue on that one. Yeah. Pie is the best food. Another one with mathematics that people are talking about, we covered earlier, which had to do with Da Vinci's work, where the Vitruvian Man used to follow specific proportions for the rules of movement. So he had 3 arms on each side, one going up and one going down, to show the movement up and down and how it created this perfect geometry. But now the Vitruvian Man only has 2 arms on each side.
Strange. I thought he had 4.
Really? Haven't heard that one. Well, no, yeah, he has 4 now. And a lot of people remember 6 because it was to show movement, both up and down.
Oh, that's
so
right.
3 on each side.
That's right.
Yeah. If we can go back into anatomy changes.
Okay, let's do that.
What is behind your eyeball?
Skin, flesh.
And then
veins.
What's behind that? We've got like
veins, skeleton, and then the brain.
Okay. So this is a big one for a lot of people, and it's definitely one there's a lot of residue for. A lot of people, when you ask this question, and there's tons of video of people being interviewed about it, they don't remember the occipital bone. So the bone that is behind the eyeball, there's a little slit in it, and that's where, you know, all the connectivity to the brain goes. But a lot of us remember completely empty eye sockets.
Makes
Another
sense.
thing we remember is, yeah, you know, and I knew somebody whose eyeball popped out when he got attacked. And, you know, there's definitely no skull there. And another one is the nose bone. People don't remember it, but apparently now we have a nose bone. The skull has changed. We've got, okay, I'll ask you this question. How many bones are in the human skull?
Does that include teeth?
It does not include teeth.
Oh, you have the skull, you have spine, you have the jawbone.
Well, okay, so just from the jawbone up.
Jawbone up?
So you said the skull and the jawbone.
Yes.
Okay.
What am I missing?
So this one was a big shift. You are missing 20 more bones. There are 8 cranial bones, 14 facial skeleton bones, and there's the occipital bone, 2 temporal bones, 2 parietal bones. I'm going to brutalize these words, but there's also frontal bones and then 2 more as well. So there's 22 bones total. And this is something that was looked at as much of like a skeleton upgrade for people because, you know, when you were a baby, they say don't touch the soft spot because there were like 3 different areas that would come fused together.
Yes.
Yeah. But now those bones don't completely fuse until you're 35 to 40. They come together in a different fashion. They're incredibly jagged and they all come apart. The sutures aren't completely closed until you're in your 30s or 40s. But before, you know, that would become resolved in childhood. But now the skeleton can actually, you know, it has like basically tissue that holds it together, and the skeleton will come apart into all these different pieces, and it can be like laid out on a table. And, you know, the hardiness of the skeleton has changed as well. It's a lot thicker. We're a lot like beefier. Our spines have grown almost like 3 times in width, according to a lot of people. For some of you guys, this might have been always your reality. But for other ones of us, we're just like, wow, you know, there's floating ribs now. The pelvis, a lot of people remember it being all one piece. There was this movie, Shallow Hal, and they showed like this tailbone deformity where the tailbone came out kind of over his bum crack.
Yes.
And, you know, that's still in the movie. But now the tailbone is called the sacrum and the coccyx, and it's now part of the hips, which now, like, I remember being horrified in school because they would teach us that, you know, the hips, they grow in pregnancy, like permanently, but, you know, they don't come apart. So a lot of people die in childbirth, but now the hips are in 3 parts and there's like some tissue in the front that hold the 2 hip bones together and tissue in the back that holds it to the sacrum. And when you're pregnant, that like plug of like, you know, it's kind of like a mucus plug of tissue, it actually expands. So pregnancy is a lot safer. And if you look up photos of this, it'll just blow your mind if you're affected, because a lot of us are just like, what is going on?
Well, the whole birth thing, that one kind of trips me out a little bit because that's something I'll never really experience. And if I do, well, then somebody... I'm blaming aliens if that happens. Definitely blaming aliens if that happens.
You know, in the Bible now, it references lactating men. And like, you know, the next thing you know, you're going to be pregnant.
Could very well happen. Could very well happen, especially with some of the weird stuff that we talk about here. Some MK Ultra type experience that, we may not want to have happen. But nonetheless, we're continuing on. We got about 4.5 minutes here before we got to go to break at the top of the hour. We are talking Mandela Effect with Cali tonight, who is a YouTuber and a researcher on this topic. Appreciate you taking the time tonight. With this and the fact that there are so many different examples, we always seem to get into the basics, whether it's the Berenstain Bears, whether it's Shazam and all of that. What are we missing here? What are some of the big ones out there that we're just not focusing on?
Okay. One of the big ones for us is, like in wrestling, boxing, a kidney punch is illegal.
Yes.
You can't punch people in the kidneys. So where would you say you can't punch? Where would you point the kidneys out?
In the lower back region.
Okay. Well, now if you look up anatomy and just Google that real quick, your kidneys are actually tucked up inside underneath your rib cage. So a kidney punch is actually impossible because they're behind the new ribs and the floating ribs. Very wild.
Interesting. I never knew that.
Yeah, so there's no way to give a kidney punch now because the kidneys have relocated to a safer location up underneath the rib cage. I really suggest just Googling that real quick. It's like, whoa, very strange. I think it's interesting, right? Because there's some hints to things, I think. We have history, right? And if you break that word down, it's his story. And, we're on a planet, plan it, almost like it's planned, And these are the things that I kind of go back to say, are we in a computer simulation? Do we have really advanced technology in the future? Nick Bostrom talks about an ancestor simulation. And he says that in the future, in order to challenge yourself, you would send yourself back in time, which is actually, your future, to experience what it was like for your ancestors. And like I brought up earlier, we've experienced things going from Pong to VR. So this reality being an MMORPG is completely feasible. And, it's not what a lot of people lean towards, but, that's the most reasonable explanation to me up until this point.
Do you think that there are Mandela effects that are affecting, as we got about 90 seconds, our everyday lives? Never mind the entertainment factor.
There hasn't been too much that affects our everyday lives, with the exception of our bodies being safer. And another one that affects a lot of people's lives down in LA is before they said the autonomous cars were 10 years away, and now they're in full force. So that's, something that has upped our safety quite a bit. But other than that, not yet. We'll have to ask the chat.
And a quick question here from OK. What's the argument that this is demonic? Is it demonic?
Oh, all right. You know what? There are so many people that say it's demonic, and we can really get into that after the break. The Bible has so many changes and prophecies that literally speak out the Mandela effect directly. And I'm sure it's not the only religion that does so, but it's the one that I'm familiar with. I went to Catholic school, and there are so many people, great channels like EYA on YouTube that talk about this. And I'm really looking forward to getting into detail with that after the break.
Well, we can do that. We can do that because, well, that's kind of what we do around here. That's kind of what we do. And, I got to say, the Twitter crowd, the YouTube crowd is fantastic tonight. Fantastic tonight. If you get a chance to read on in, there is some funny stuff going on social media tonight as we talk about the Mandela Effect with Cali tonight. Yeah, we're having fun. We got hour number 3 of Spaced Out Radio coming on up right after this. So this is how it breaks down. Cali will be with us until the bottom of the hour. and then she's going to wave good night so everybody around the world can see her wave from flatlands of Saskatchewan. And we also have the SOR Newswire and the Thought of the Dave coming up. Hour number 3 of Spaced Out Radio is next. I'm having fun tonight.
I'm having fun too, dude. This is a great time. Like, I'm having an awesome time, and I'm so happy to see so many people from the Mandela Effect community here.
Oh, yeah. I hope they're enjoying this too.
If you guys haven't, you subscribe to this channel. He's got all sorts of great shows on everything from, like Bigfoot. I think I've seen cryptids.
Oh, yeah.
All sorts of stuff that I know
I'm a
you guys are
weirdo.
interested in.
I am a weirdo. I'm going to turn the commercials on here for a couple seconds. I just got to run my puppy outside, and I'll be right back, okay?
Moose is right there. Get your horns up
with me.
And rock with the Moose, the official party bar of Spaced Out Radio.
We all know on Spaced Out Radio we love a good beard and mustache, so why not take care of your facial hair with Mighty Moose Beard Oil? Made in Canada, we're taking care of beards and stashes around the world. We use 100% natural ingredients with our oils and balms to make your whiskers feel silky smooth. Use promo code SOR2019 at mightymoosebeard.com today.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7 with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
The SOR Vault is open for business, and do we have some cool swag for you to pick up? All you have to do is head over to our website and click on the SOR Vault. You have a variety of cool logos to choose from, and put them on anything you want. T-shirts, hoodies, hats, coffee mugs, you name it, we can get it to you. So do your shopping by supporting the store you love. Get your Spaced Out Radio swag at the SOR Vault today.
Hello everyone, this is Ryan Stacy from the Experiencer Support Association, otherwise known as TESSA. We're glad to team up with Spaced Out Radio to help investigate your experiences on the SOR Sightlines report. Together, we'll investigate the strange sightings and occurrences you've had. We're looking for answers just like you. So fill out a Sightlines report on the Spaced Out Radio website and let's figure out what's going on together.
Hello, Space Travelers. It's me again, Carl. Don't forget to join the Space Travelers Club for just $5 a month and follow Spaced Out Radio on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio. Our Instagram, Dave Scott SOR. Our Facebook page is Spaced Out Radio Show. Our archives are free at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Come woo it up with Spaced Out Radio today. Bye!
For the price of 1 cup of coffee a month, you can become an SOR Space Traveler. The Space Travelers Club is a place where you can interact with other listeners, either live during the show or on our great forum. We want your stories, pictures, comments, and ideas. You'll get live video streams, exclusive content, and be a part of our newsletter. Stay in touch with everything SOR. The Space Travelers Club is just $5 a month at spacedoutradio.com.
Hello, this is your guitar man, Ron Bumblefoot Thor, and I have to tell you, I love the response I get for Little Brother is Watching from Spaced Out Radio fans. It's amazing how music can inspire and make people think deeper about what's going on in the supernatural world. You can head over to my website, bumblefoot.com, to check out my music, my guitar workshops, my touring, even check out some of the hot sauces that I'm working on. And make sure you keep on listening, because with Spaced Out Radio, you know Little Brother is watching.
Hey everyone, I'm John Edwards.
And I'm Stacey Edwards. Together we're taking over Saturday nights on Spaced Out Radio, where we're going to bring our own experiences of the paranormal and talk to the best people we can find to help bring you answers to your strange tales.
We're here to entertain your need for weekend So tune us in at spacedoutradio.com starting at 9:06 Pacific, 12:06 a.m. Eastern, where we can all get a little spooky together.
Spaced Out Saturday nights right here at spacedoutradio.com.
All right, I am back. We've got...
Welcome back.
Well, my dog decided that I got a pretty big backyard, and he decided to disappear on me in my backyard, and I couldn't find him.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So
he's
back
now. I got a question for you.
Yeah.
This is a Mandela effect for me. But have you seen the 8-inch alien that they had found? And they had actually said that, it's not human. And they sent it in for testing at this, major university, I believe in the States, or college. And the researcher, the archaeologist, or I don't remember what his exact title was, but that was what he did, was, date items and figure them out, DNA testing.
Yeah.
And then he got a huge check from the government. I don't remember which branch, but it was one of the nefarious ones. And then all of a sudden he completely denied it. Are you familiar with this?
Yes, a little bit.
All right.
Yeah.
Have you seen that thing?
Yeah.
It's like
it's only
8 feet tall. And they said it was like 8 years old. And it doesn't look human. And then eventually they said that, it's 8 years old, but it has like a genetic disorder. And I mean, how would it have survived coming out of the womb? It's wild.
No idea.
No, 8 had a rat. I don't know how to say your name in the chat. You need to Google this. Yes, 8-inch or 6-inch alien that was found in the desert. It is crazy. It was a Mandela effect for me. We never had any smoking guns like that.
Strange.
In the UFO. Yeah. And the pictures of it just blow my mind. I don't know if you've seen them, but they've got actual scientists, public media scientists holding this tiny body and saying that it's legitimate.
Hold on.
Do you remember the starseed skull?
Yes. Hold on. We only got about 15 seconds. I want to thank everybody tuning in, especially if you're tuning in for the first time on our YouTube channel, and maybe this is your first time listening to Spaced Out Radio. Thank you so much. We do have the super chat open. A great way to support what we do is by giving us a thumbs up, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button while you're tuning on in. And our website, of course, is spacedoutradio.com, where we have some really cool stories and a lot of stuff for you, including doing a little shopping at our SOR vault as well. So I appreciate all of you tuning in for the first time, especially those who are followers of Cali's. Yeah, this is actually really, really cool. Bart. Bart, you son of a bitch. You son of a bitch. Oh, thanks, Bart.
He's a brat, dude. 100%.
Oh, he does a lot for me. Here we go. We're going to kick off the third hour right now. I think. Here we go. Welcome back to the third and final hour of Spaced Out Radio tonight. I am your host, Dave Scott. Appreciate you all tuning us on in, especially if you are listening to us on our terrestrial affiliates, as well as our digital side on Revolution Radio. Great to have you with us. Remember, you can check out all of our archives for free at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do old Davey the favor, hit that subscribe button. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. Obfuscate. Obfuscate is your password. Use it wisely, space travelers, as the Clam sets a password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. Our website is spacedoutradio.com. We got a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire, which is updated daily. Tonight, we've been talking the Mandela Effect all night long. Researcher, blogger, YouTuber, Cali is with us. Yes, we're glad to have her here. It's been a fun show in everything that we do tonight and everything that we are chatting about. Great to have you here, Cali. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
And
having a great time.
And if you want to follow her on YouTube, Society's Rejects is her channel name. I got to ask you, there's a lot of people who've made comments in our chat rooms tonight about people who are allegedly dead at one point, but are still alive. You know, and Joe brought up a good one with Kirk Douglas, where he said he recalls a number of years ago that Kirk Douglas he said about 15 years ago, the Academy Awards did a memorial for Kirk Douglas, who had just died. Surprise, surprise, he just died this year. I believe he was like 103 years old. What's your thoughts on some of this?
You know, I think it's really interesting. And I think it's kind of like a hint, you know, maybe from the other realm that life might not be as impermanent as we thought. You know, if people can die and come back again, there's been a lot of people who have died and come back. I mean, there's been name changes. Sally Fields is now known as Sally Field. We've had the Christian preacher Joel Osteen is now known as Joel Osteen, no L. And, you know, we have these name changes. We've got like these deaths and people are coming back to life. And you know, to me, it really makes me wonder about the nature of reality, because there are so many examples of these deaths and non-deaths. I mean, Bill Nye, the science guy, you know, in my reality, he died. And now, you know, he's back. He's doing interviews with, Neil deGrasse Tyson and all these other people. And I'm like, man, I remember all my nerdy friends on the internet posting memorials on Facebook. And now he's not dead anymore. Like, what does it mean?
I don't know. That I don't know. I never heard the Bill Nye one.
Yeah, he was dead for me. I was like, well...
Okay, so that brings up, because there is an age gap between you and me. All right. I mean, yeah. I'm only like 30 years old, and no, I'm kidding. I'm 46, and you're much younger than me, and definitely I'm prettier. No. You're definitely prettier than me as well. And no, it's true. It's true. I'm a solid 5.3 out of 10. I've already ranked myself. Yeah. Anyways, it's the aliens thing. It's the alien thing. You know what I'm saying? But nonetheless, the point that I'm getting at is this generational, where my generation, or the generation that is older than me, is going to remember things differently than a younger generation such as yours or below, where maybe you've been affected more by any potential Mandela effect?
You know, that's a real interesting question. And I was hoping that, people around my age or younger, I'm only 11 years younger than you are. So, it's not that big of a difference, but there would be like, but it's all over the map. It really is. And there's some actually very famous people who are Mandela affected. Let's see, Tana Montague, Shane Dawson. They're huge YouTubers, like, YouTubers basically with mansions. And they both do videos on the Mandela Effect. And, they post it, and, they're affected completely. And a good example of a flip-flop was Shane Dawson. And I forget how many followers Shane Dawson has. I'll look it up for you really quick. But I think Shane Dawson is way, way up there. He's 32.2 million subscribers, and he does Mandela Effect videos, and he gets a lot of slack for it, but he cannot help it. He still does the videos on the Mandela Effect, and I believe he covered one that affected a lot of us, and that is a notorious flip-flop, and that was Houston, we have a problem. And you can find a lot of posts on this. It had switched to Houston, we've had a problem, and now it's switched back. So there's so many weird Mandela effects like that, where it's like inferring something, or it's kind of creepy. Like, Houston, we've had a problem, and, now we don't have one. Or, one that's not a flip-flop that's really famous with Tom Hanks. Tom Hanks is highly affected. And, it's weird because he's in a lot of conspiracy stuff right now, dude. He's got the coronavirus, and he's posting pictures of his Corona typewriter, all sorts of weird stuff. His wife made her phone number public, all sorts of strange stuff. And the one that really gets most people is the famous quote of him sitting on the bench. And I'm going to ask you what it is. He's sitting on the bench. He's got the chocolates in his hand. And, he looks over at the person next to him. And what does he say? Mama always said,
life is a box of chocolates.
Yeah, life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. Now, I've got goosebumps right now, Dave. I'm not going to lie to you.
Okay.
Seriously, David. They're like cutting through my skin. Because this is one of those ones that I'm like, is there some kind of secret message in this? Is there some kind of code to all this? Because I told you earlier that, Curious George's tail, that has the AI changed, right? It has AI in the middle of it. And then there's Bernstein. That's AI, artificial intelligence, right? In the Bible, Son of God changed to Son of Man. And what's the Son of Man but artificial intelligence? That's, what we created. So now the Tom Hanks quote is life was like a box of chocolates. So do we know what we're going to get now? What is he inferring?
That I do not know. That one I do not know.
It doesn't sound right. And if somebody's not Mandela affected and you ask them what that quote is, I have never, ever heard, and I've gone into malls and I've interviewed people, took my camera in there. I've never heard somebody say life was like a box of chocolates. But sure enough, that's what the movies say. Get your VHSs, from back in the 90s. Grab your VHSs, pop them in. They're all going to be affected. They're all going to say life was like a box of chocolates.
Interesting. Yeah, that one I think many of us are familiar with. But back to people dying and coming back, there, one of the conspiracies regarding this is something to do with JFK Jr. as well.
Ooh. Can you fill me in on that one? I can't say that.
I'm not very familiar with it, but people are saying that he never really died in the plane crash and that he is kind of, around still. I don't buy that one. I really do not buy.
Okay, well let's look it up. He died in 1999 on July 16th, according to Wikipedia.
Yes.
Cause of death, plane crash. So that would be a conspiracy theory, probably not a Mandela effect, unless it's flip-flopped.
That one's hard to know. I don't buy that one.
All right. Well, the current reality is that he died in a plane crash. What was it before? I don't know. I'm not.
No, he died in a plane crash.
All right. For us, he did. But, it's different for everybody. For other people, he might not have. That might be a real mind bender for them.
Could be. So I'm curious in regards to the Mandela effect, a lot of people out there also believe that, never mind the timelines being screwed up, but do we look at the Mandela effect as something that, we have skipped over to a new timeline? Is that the way it is? Because right off the top of the show, you kind of got into a little bit with CERN or a little bit with other things that may be causing these ripple effects. What's your conclusion? What are you basing all of this on?
Okay, so this is different for everybody, right? Many people are saying right now, because it's very interesting to me that it said in the Bible that all things would change. It said that there would be a new heaven and a new earth. It said the earth would be moved from its place. And we just talked about how we moved from the Sagittarius to Orion, the location of the earth. Carl Sagan, Neil deGrasse Tyson backs that up. There's a lot of residue. sky doesn't, there seems less stars more than more. So, you look up, it doesn't look like we moved to the middle of the Milky Way. But, a lot of people are saying, like they asked in the chat, a lot of people are saying this is demonic. Other people are 100% convinced that this is CERN. To me, a particle accelerator causing something like this does not make any sense. But they do kind of troll you. I mean, there's a lot of conspiracies about that. They're pretty pervasive. It's almost like they want you to think it's them. They have like those occult events, like with the opening of CERN, with like I said, like Baphomet, which was very what was it? The Bohemian Grove, these New World Order conspiracies, the Bilderberg Group, the Illuminati. It all links back to CERN, and then Sally Fields is associated, but to my knowledge, she's not even Sally Fields anymore. She's Sally Field. So a lot of people are looking towards that. Like I said, according to, as far as they know, the scientific consensus, and we're talking about MIT, we're talking about all these main universities, Cambridge, all of them are saying that these D-Wave computers, including the inventor of the D-Wave computer, which I believe is a fellow Canadian, are saying that we are borrowing resources from parallel realities. Now, a lot of this stuff started around the same time that those D-Wave computers got switched on. So a big theory here is that when these D-Wave computers got switched on, and we're doing these amazing calculations, and these D-Wave computers are fantastic. Kind of off topic, but we actually reached something called quantum supremacy.
Okay,
which
what's
means
that?
Google did a calculation that would have taken the fastest supercomputer in the world 10,000 years. I believe they did it within minutes. And that's what these quantum computers can do. But they run basically on like a qubit system. So instead of just off or on, they kind of work like, I don't know if you're aware of like Schrodinger's cat. Have you heard of that thought experiment?
No, fill us in.
Okay. So with Schrodinger's cat, Schrodinger thought, quantum physics is ridiculous. He thought it was a joke. So he tried to prove it wrong. And what he did was he said, okay, so you have a vial of poison gas and you throw it in a box with a cat. Not so nice to the cat. It has a 50% chance of going off. And, according to this, the cat is either alive or dead until you open the box, and it solidifies the possibility of if the cat is dead or alive. So the cat isn't dead or alive until you open the box. How this lines up with the double slit experiment is that one. Okay, so they found out that if a particle is being like thrown towards a wall and there's two slits in the wall, that if this experiment is being observed, like measured with a laser, the particles will act in a very predictable way. They will make two lines on the back wall, like you would expect. Like,
right.
You throw a baseball, it's going to go where you throw it, right? But it didn't work that way when they stopped observing the experiment and
right.
They didn't have an observer. It actually created an interference pattern, which created like, a wave. So they said either the particle went through one or the other or both. So they tried to trick the experiment.
Right.
And they measured it after it had already decided, found it as a realm of possibilities. And then what the experiment did is basically they found that time was changing, like the past was changing, and it went back, corrected the interference pattern, and turned it back into two lines once it was observed, and changed the past that had ever happened.
Right.
And here's where things get really interesting. Like I mentioned earlier with 9/11, that the random number generators were affected by that event. So many people were thinking on one thing. And a lot of people do believe in the power of prayer and meditation. They do. I mean, it's huge. And we found out from that, the mind can affect matter. So down in somewhere around Phoenix, Arizona, a university decided to set up one of these double slit experiments and, have people think about the experiment and see if they can affect, the experiment and have, it collapse into superposition and act in a predictable way, like somebody is watching it or a measuring device, right? And they found that yes. And they decided to do a worldwide experiment to find, does distance matter in this? And they set it up online, and they had volunteers come online and fill in some basic information about themselves. Do they meditate? Just basic information about their habits and their lifestyle. And they found out that people who meditate and who are like yoga practitioners or, have the power of prayer actually collapse the wave function into superposition, like into a definite, just like it was being observed by a measuring device at a much higher percentage than the average person. But overall, regardless of who is observing the test, the differentiation between if it is or is not being observed is marked. There is a difference there. So your mind does affect the matrix. But these, this isn't wishy-washy stuff. This isn't conspiracy theory stuff. It's none of the stuff that we go do on these channels. This is public science from accredited universities.
We've got about just under 4 minutes left with you tonight on Spaced Out Radio on a show that has flown on by. Do we expect more of this to continue and for more of this to really start to see the effects of what we are doing?
You know what? It's been amping up, and in the prophecies, bring up the Bible a lot, but it's highly affected. It says all things will be changed. It said, there's going to be a new earth. So if we look at stuff like that and some of the other, I believe the Emerald Tablets, all that stuff mentioned this. So it's been, affected on a daily basis, a weekly basis. The Schumann resonance has used to be always at a solid 7.8 hertz, never changed, is now reaching over 100. So a lot of people think the shiftiness has something to do with the Schumann resonance. You can definitely look into that. But there is absolutely no indication of this slowing down. It's been ramping up. It changes by the week. It changes by the shift. And more are being affected. But like it said in the Bible, the older things will not be remembered. So a lot of people, maybe it's true. I can just say that, it kind of took my breath away because I never believed in that stuff. But now that I'm seeing it happen, I'm kind of like, wow, maybe this is a hint. And I think there probably are hints everywhere in all prophecies, all religions, and we just have to look for them. If you find any, let me know.
Well, I mean, there's plenty of them. I mean, you look at a lot of business logos. You look at a lot of business logos.
And, they've changed. Home Depot. Staples has that little hook, Home Depot versus the Home Depot. Kit Kat doesn't have a dash in it. I mean, it's endless. And then celebrities like Robin Williams' death, apparently, Heath Ledger, Mr. Rogers. You can look any of those up. Apparently, Michael Jackson, 2009 versus 2014, like Febreze. We've got Chick-fil-A. You probably don't recognize that, but for people in the States, it was CHIC. I always spelt it wrong, but now it's spelled like a baby chicken. I mean, there's so much. We can hardly get into it in a couple hours, but thank you so much for diving deep with me tonight.
Oh, it's you know what? It's been a lot of fun. I'm still trying to figure out. I don't buy the Flintstones one. I don't buy the Flintstones one because it has never been FLINS. It's always been FLINTS. Do you think, as we start to wrap this up, as we only got about a minute left, do you think that some of these are just people taking the imagination to the next level?
You know what? With the residue, I really don't think it's imagination, but I think that people should definitely try to influence this with their own minds and see if, group meditation or group prayer, like the Palladian channelers are saying, can actually affect your reality. Because, we're going to find out in the near future. And wouldn't that be cool?
All right, we got about 40 seconds left. Do me a favor, tell everybody where they can find your YouTube channel, your music, your information.
Hey guys, you can find me at bloodybloodybloody.com for my music. @SexyGamer on Twitter. That's @SexyGamer on Twitter, or Society's Rejects on YouTube. And don't forget to subscribe to Spaced Out Radio Live to participate in the live chat.
Oh, thank you so much for the shameless plug there. Cali, good luck in your success with your channel and everything that you do. I really do appreciate you taking the time, hanging out with us. You hold on for a quick second because I got to get ready for the next half hour of Spaced Out Radio. So if you're still with us, stay tuned because we have the SOR Newswire and the Thought of the Dave coming on up. And it's always a lot of fun when we get into the news. So stay with us. More Spaced Out Radio right after this. That was awesome, girl. Awesome.
Aw, you're awesome.
No, you're awesome.
Thank you so much.
You're awesome.
Oh, you're awesome.
You're awesome.
You're awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome.
We gotta talk some stuff because I gotta get some intel from you on the whole YouTube thing.
All right.
On what you're doing and all that kind of stuff and figure this stuff out.
Dude. You got my number.
Oh yeah.
You got my number.
I got the number. I got the special digits.
Yeah. All right.
All right.
All right. Well, it looks like FAP is paying you to make me be quiet here. So.
Holy cow. Thank you, Coach Sonny. Thank you, Coach Sonny. I appreciate that. Oh, FAP is, he's good people. He's good people. And he rides most of my guests pretty hard. He really does. And I don't mind. He's allowed. Everybody's allowed to have an opinion. That's exactly what we do around here. As long as it stays polite, unless you're Barther L, who is absolutely carving me in there tonight. Oh my goodness, Barther, you were making me laugh. And normally I can hold it. Normally I can just steer away, but it was like a train wreck. I had to watch tonight. But no, you're pretty awesome. And hey, with your music, I have a friend of mine who is got a startup on a little digital radio paranormal program. She's looking for some music. Can I get her to get in touch with you? Do you have any music that you'd like to share on her station?
Yeah, I can definitely look into that. I know some truthers that got some music as well, so we can try and get a collection together for her.
Yeah, perfect. Absolutely, buddy. I appreciate that. I'll let you go back to what you're doing since it's like 12:31 your time, unless you want to hang out for a couple minutes because we do have some time here.
This is morning for me, so I just want to thank you for opening up to this effect. I know a lot of people aren't affected by it, and it seems like kind of people who aren't affected by it kind of have this knee-jerk reaction. It kind of makes them angry, so it's kind of a risque thing to talk about.
Oh, it is
It's dangerous.
It is. You are a little bit dangerous, going into this realm. Oh yes,
it's all about the truth.
Well, you know what?
So yeah, I'll let you.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
Never met him. I said I was going to let you get down with this unless anybody's got any more questions. Somebody asked what Morgellons is. Definitely give that a search on YouTube. It's very interesting, associated with Lyme disease and other things. Big government type conspiracy, kind of like a lab manufactured, potentially. Maybe aliens. Nobody knows. So look that one up.
Always aliens.
I can try to address it on a future show. Well, yeah, always aliens. That's the answer. Maybe it's aliens.
You never go wrong with aliens. You just never ever go wrong.
And you've been abducted, so.
Oh yeah.
That makes me wonder if you think you never go wrong with aliens, I'm like, what kind of abduction did you have, dude? What did you pack?
Well, it isn't what Barther L was trying to say. I mean, I wasn't raped and pillaged or anything like that.
No probing.
No, hell no.
All right.
I had better aliens than Whitley. Yes. The one book that I couldn't finish, which was Communion.
You didn't finish your. You didn't write a book about your abductions?
I am writing it right now, and I actually am in chapter 5 of writing about my being taken. So I am working on that. I am totally.
I don't know if I could handle that.
Oh yeah. Old Davey's been had some cool experiences. Really cool. Sean, next topic, Dogman. Nope. Next topic tomorrow night will be Aliens Are Us with author Jared Murphy. That is tomorrow night.
Did you ever notice like the word alien is a lie? In
Oh, it could be.
You got to wonder about this. You got to wonder about the simulation theory thing, because I've come across aliens. I've seen them. I've seen UFOs. I got videos. I got pictures. But you got to wonder. Maybe the angels are trolling us. I definitely. I definitely lay awake at night thinking it.
We got some aliens out there. We definitely got some aliens out there. That is totally for sure. Totally for sure. Oh, Bart, it isn't. It isn't rape when you agree to it, Dave. Oh, you were so bad. You were so bad. Horrible. Who does that? Who does that? Come on.
They only probe you if you're not into it, apparently.
Yeah.
All right. On that note, I'm going to go.
On that note. All right. Enjoy your aliens. Enjoy your aliens. We'll talk soon.
Yep, Scotty. You know what? I'm going to hope the aliens leave me alone for now. That's all I'm going to say. It's been about a year free from aliens, and I'd like to keep it that way. So have a great night. Thank you for having me on. Thank you, all my friends who came to join me. Love you guys. Like and subscribe. Smash the button. Good night.
Good night. That was pretty awesome. She's got incredible energy. Incredible energy. And I love her. I do. I think she's pretty awesome.
Richard Dolan, Dr. Jeff Meldrum, and Jack Casher. Head on over to Amazon Prime or TV and check us out.
We got enough wrenches around here.
For the filmmakers on their film's Amazon page.
Final half hour about to kick off. Let's have some fun here. Here comes the music. Good job, Cali. We rounded third. We're heading for home tonight on Spaced Out Radio. I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. Thank you so much for joining us. Want to remind you that if you've missed most of this show or others, you can check out our free archives at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do old Davey the favor. Hit that subscribe button. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including Rockin' Out to Bumblefoot and staying up to date on what's happening in the weird and strange with Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. Speaking of the news, let's get to it, shall we? The news is always changing, which is why we bring you the SOR Newswire at the back end of every show, where we get to the weird, the strange, the wacky, and sometimes we get into the cryptids. Social distancing is necessary to help stop the spread of coronavirus around the world, including Turkey Mountain in Oklahoma. The Riverfront Landmark in Tulsa shared a post to its Facebook page Monday to say they're investigating several reports of a Sasquatch sighting on their grounds. Yeah, several people sent in pictures of something on the trails that resembled Bigfoot. While there's no way of knowing what many of these people claim to have seen, Turkey Mountain took the time to say they'll investigate, while also reminding its visitors to continue practicing social distancing, staying at least 6 feet apart or one Sasquatch arm length apart from one another. But they didn't say that. I had to throw that in. Did they actually see Sasquatch? Now, I'm looking at this photo here that they posted on their Twitter page. I'm not buying it. I think this one's an outfit. And, I love the woo. I love the woo. But old Davey isn't buying the woo here on this one. Nope. Not buying it. It doesn't look real. Too thin, too short, looks like it's wearing a different color pants. And, trying to hide behind a small tree is not what Sasquatch does. I'm not buying it. Now, maybe they do have Sasquatch in that area, but it ain't from this guy. It ain't from this guy. All right, moving on. Despite tough restrictions imposed by the government in an effort to contain the coronavirus pandemic that has ravaged Italy, some people there have been finding ways to venture outside. Under Italy's quarantine rules, anyone who wants to leave their home must fill out a form stating the reason for being outside and must submit it to a law enforcement when asked. Under a government decree, many leave their home to buy groceries, work, and walk their dog, among a limited set of activities. So far in the country, an estimated 101,739 people have the disease, including 11,591 deaths, most of any country so far. So some of the excuses that are being used: love. One man from Ancilia, just south of Rome, said he was trying to win back an ex-fiancée who broke off their relationship a few hours earlier. He wrote just love on his form. Gatherings. A man in his 20s wrote on his form that he was going to a friend's house to have dinner. A clear violation of the government's policy on gatherings. Meanwhile, two women lied and said they were visiting an elderly and sick aunt. After some digging by police, the aunt turned out to be a healthy 40-year-old woman. One man traveling from Formello to Rome, a 30-mile drive south, said he was going to buy cigarettes. Two men declared they were going shopping, only for police to find out that they were actually selling drugs instead. In northern Italy, a man whom police stopped said he was under the impression that wine was considered a necessity and was looking to go purchase a bottle. English language Italian news site The Local reported that some people were exhausting their pets during walks in efforts to stay outside. The site reported that some people walking their four-legged friends up to 5 times a day. Some local mayors have had it with people violating orders to stay inside. Some have complained of people walking their cats. One actually claimed on a form that he was out feeding pigeons. One mayor said he stopped a jogger with a visibly worn-out dog. I stopped and said, "Look, this isn't a movie. You aren't Will Smith in I Am Legend. Go home." And another said he heard rumors that people wanted to throw a graduation party. "We'll send the police over with flamethrowers," he said. Nice mayor. Nice mayor. 4 dedicated zookeepers have moved into their zoo to self-isolate with the animals. The members of the Paradise Park in Hale, Cornwall, are now living on site so they can continue to care for the birds and animals while they isolate themselves. The family-run business has an on-home site, and now Izzy Wheatley, Sarah Jane Gelbert, Emily Foden, and Layla Richardson will be based there for the foreseeable future. Paradise Park is home to 1,200 birds and mammals that still require care despite the pandemic. Izzy said, "I had been thinking about how to handle this situation we all find ourselves in, re-isolating and social distancing, as I have a big family, including an elderly member who has gone in to 12 weeks isolation." At the same time, the directors were having the same thoughts about using the house that is on site, and when it became free, we had to do it. Myself and 2 other keepers, Rachel and Emily, then moved into the on-site house on Saturday so that way they could care for the animals. Izzy and the others will continue looking after the animals by feeding and cleaning and giving medication where required. She says, "We just have under 1,200 individual birds and mammals to look after, feeding, cleaning, giving medication, supplying enrichment activities, and any other vital maintenance. We are being supported by other keepers who are coming in at different times of the day so they could keep separate, and obviously we are keeping our distance from them. This is being achieved by changing rotations and splitting up areas of the park to ensure they're all working in different areas." That's kind of cool. Animals need love too. Now, a Maryland winery is observing social distancing protocol in its curbside deliveries with an unusual employee, a delivery dog. Oh, how brilliant is this? Stonehouse Urban Winery in Hagerstown has been offering curbside pickup to abide by the government's orders during the pandemic and to make sure employees and customers keep safe and distance in the deliveries are being made by a 75-pound brindle boxer named Soda Pop. Yeah, we've had people call in just specifically to have Soda Pop bring wine out to them. People who've never even been here before, says Lori Yatta. Yatta said the 11-year-old canine only carries 2 bottles of wine at a time and gets plenty of breaks to keep him from getting exhausted. She said the business is trying to keep an optimistic outlook during this pandemic. We are looking for the positive side in this, aka how can we make money? Closing the store allows us to do many things we normally cannot keep up with. We are making tons of wine. We are hoping to get into the festival in fall, which means we got to make more wine. See, all about money for them. Oh, and the winos are supporting it. Yeah, bring that dog over here. When NASA's astronauts return to the moon in 2024, they'll need a lunar base that allows them to stay on the surface. And when the astronauts may build their base using something readily available, their urine. What? As a part of the Artemis program, the first woman and next man on the moon will be landing at the lunar South Pole. It's a place with fluctuating temperatures that will require astronauts to learn how to live and operate on the surface of another celestial body. Unfortunately, the astronauts can't just land a habitat on the lunar surface and set up shop. Instead, they'll have to build a safe habitat to protect them from radiation, extreme temperature swings ranging from -9 degrees Fahrenheit to -313 degrees Fahrenheit. Now that's cold, and impacts of the micrometeorites. Anyways, another goal of the Artemis program is for astronauts to find and use water on the moon along with their other resources at their disposal or beneath the surface to allow long-term exploration. Artemis is the sustainable way of returning to the moon for good, said Administrator Jim Bridenstine. Unlike the Apollo program, this suggests a sustained presence on and around the moon. Transporting materials is going to be expensive, though. Flying about 1 pound of material from Earth to the moon can cost $10,000. This is why so many things designed from space travel are lightweight. Yeah. So anyways, materials found on the moon or those that the astronauts would already have with them are key to the agency's sustainable approach. Previous studies of possible building material for lunar bases relied on materials that would have been brought to the moon. Now, what about this P thing? Let's find this. There's lots of paragraphs in here. All right. Don't tell me. Okay. Is that it? No. Shirk, where's your highlighter? Should have highlighted this story. Okay, here it is. Yeah. Apparently scientists want to test how the samples would react in a vacuum, simulating the most severe conditions on the lunar surface. And we have not yet investigated, they said, on how the area would be extracted from, or urea would be extracted from urine, as we are processing whether that would be really necessary, but perhaps its other components could also be used for geopolymer concrete. So basically what they want to do is they want to pee in the concrete to make buildings sustainable on the moon. Isn't that nice? All right. Let's go. The power generating units of a nuclear plant in southern China were shut down twice last week after its water filters were blocked by masses of small shrimp. The safety regulator said big shoals of the tiny ascites, krill like shrimp that are just a few centimeters long, flooded the seawater diversion channel and circulating in the pump stations of the Yangjiang nuclear power station in Guangdong province on March 24th. They crippled the water pumping stations and caused one of the nuclear plant's 6 power generating units to go into automatic safety shutdown while the other 5 ran at 80% capacity. The unit that shut down was powered up again the next day after station staff cleared the krill from its filters. But soon after the next day, the krill were back again. The very next day, the krill came back. They thought they were goners, but the krill came back. They just couldn't stay away. Anyhow, this was, the incident was rated a level 1 on the International Nuclear and Radiological Event Scale, meaning that it was an anomaly that had no safety or health consequences. Can we really believe anything out of China these days? Anyways, only 2 nuclear events have rated in the top scale as level 7 major incidents. That was the Chernobyl disaster in 1986 and the Fukushima disaster in 2011. On that note, I guess it's time for the thought of the day. Let's get to it, shall we? Now I gotta go find Marty's clown to make sure I didn't get ripped off there. Oh, there it is. That's a trailer park clown. Thanks, Marty. Thought of the day happens every night at this time, where we ask a question on our Facebook and Twitter pages. And then read your responses on the air, because we love the audience participation around here. Today's thought of the day is as follows. What are your top 3 Mandela Effect cases? Jody. Well, I just had one happen to me today, she says, that I have been researching and verifying with my family all morning. It's not a big case, but interesting to me because I have proved that I have changed timelines before. And it happened again this morning after listening to another radio show. All right, she says, my Mandela effect has to do with Robbie Williams and buying his tape in England on vacation when he was with the band Take That. Except I was listening to him before I went and bought the cassette in London, England in 1988. The band formed on this timeline in 1989-90. So that is interesting because my family all just verified me liking and listening to him on the trip that we took a year before the band got together. So interesting only to me, but still kind of neat. The song I was into, singing and listening to was from an album, and the album on this timeline did not come out until 1995. Oh, that one is weird. That is totally weird. Tim, Kazam versus Shazam, Sinbad versus Shaquille O'Neal, the only ones I know, he says. All right, let's get to Sparkles. Sparkles says, I don't believe in it. I believe there's lots of, she's going to wave the I don't believe it. Sparkles, come on. Anyways, I don't believe it. I believe there is a lot of misremembering as well as companies revamping logos to modernize them, etc. Also, ways of speaking change. An example, do you remember when we used the word anyway? I have noticed for some years that people started to say anyways instead of anyway. It caught my attention, and now I usually only hear anyways. I have heard you say it too, Dave. Yes, I have. Nor the Bible stuff. People always saying words change, and as they were looking at the Bible, my question always has been, when the words change, do the type of style remain the same? The more things change, the more they stay the same. Remember Cinderella? That was a good band. Anyways, no one has ever responded. It was a straight question of curiosity. I was not mocking and made clear. In fact, I have a collection of really old Bibles and did some research for our friend Lori McDonald a couple of years ago. She is a staunch believer in the Mandela Effect. Sorry, I know this is opposite of the question, but I just had to comment. I hope it's okay. If not, let me know, and I will behave myself in the future. Guess what? We read it. We read it! Because we love you around here, Sparkles. Love you. All right. Let's move on. Mike, C-3PO's leg, silver. Shazam was definitely a movie, and it's Oscar Mayer, not Oscar Mayer. That's kind of weird. That's one of the logos. All right, Bob. I've never heard of the effect till this morning when I read your post, but just last night, I experienced it. Here's the story. Back in 1966, when I was a boy, I loved a TV show called Time Tunnel. My favorite episode is when Tony the Time Traveler goes back to Pearl Harbor and tries to save his father. I had the distinct recollection these past 54 years the final scene took place on the dock with Tony's father dying outside. Last night, I bought season 1 of Time Tunnel to show my kids when I watched it as a kid. Lo and behold, Tony's dad dies indoors in a scene nothing similar to what I had remembered all of these years. False memories are fascinating. Tim, Ed McMahon was not a Publishers Clearinghouse spokesperson. The last word to Queen's We Are the Champions are not of the world. The Wicked Queen does not say mirror, mirror on the wall. It's magic mirror on the wall. Oh, Tim. Tim is the reality breaker here. He was totally the reality breaker. My goodness, just hurts our feelings there. Jeff, braces on Jaws, girlfriend and Moonraker. I have no idea what that means. I really don't. But that is interesting. All right. Gil, the Mona Lisa, now smiling, and Silence of the Lambs. Hello, Clarice. Apparently never happened. Kevin, I went to kindergarten. I have kept my class picture for 48 years, and I've looked at it hundreds of times. Now it says kindergarten. I never heard of kindergarten. Do not tell me I am not remembering things right. This is just the tip of the iceberg of things that have changed and physically altered in reality. The Mandela Effect is very real, and it's like living constantly in the Twilight Zone. See, I always remember it as kindergarten with a T, not a D. All right, then he goes, everybody remembers Mr. Rogers singing It's a Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood. Check again. It's changed. Now he says it's a beautiful day in this neighborhood. And Kevin goes on for a third one. He goes, I have had so much change. I watched my Star Wars trilogy VHS tapes with my kids back in 2012. The movies were fine. I put in the same VHS tapes back on 2017, and they all have changed, where C-3PO now not only has a silver leg, but a 2-inch antenna sticking out of his forehead. Not my reality. There's your new hashtag. Not my reality. Gabe, your heart moving from the right side to the middle of the chest, not being show and ice at the snow and ice at the North Pole, and 3 doors of the JFK changing from the doors of JFK's limo changing from 2 to 4. Amy, I swear they are happening as we speak. This is so bizarre because I've been thinking about this a lot. Lisa, here's my main one out of many, but I used to read my kids the Berenstein Bears, and now I know beyond the doubt that how it was spelt because I have a friend in California who has the same last name as Steen, as I always noted how her name was pronounced Stein, whereas Berenstein was pronounced Steen. Christine, Mandela was freed from prison, Berenstein Bears, and Tank Man was run over. He was not run over. He was not run over. They came and captured him. That's the way it goes. But whatever. All right. We want to say thank you to everybody participating in the Thought of the Dave. We will do it all again for the next show on Twitter and on Facebook. We also say big thanks to Captain Shirk for getting our news ready for the SOR Newswire, which is always found at spacedoutradio.com or on Facebook at SOR Newswire. And thank you to Cali for coming in to talk about the Mandela Effect, her YouTube channel, Society's Reject. We really appreciate that. Go make sure you subscribe to that as well. We got Mr. Ron Bumblefoot Thal rocking in the background with Little Brother is Watching. Bumblefoot is the official music of Spaced Out Radio, rocking us in and out of every single show. Get your horns up for the guitar god himself. Special thanks to everybody listening in at home, at work, in your cars, wherever you may be. Special thanks to everybody in our chat rooms on YouTube, Twitter at hashtag Spaced Out Radio. You are beautiful snarkers and snarkettes tonight. As well on Facebook, Spreaker, LGAB, Revolution Radio, and our website, spacedoutradio.com. Remember, this show is copyright by Spaced Out Radio and SOR Media Ventures Limited. Thank you so much for sharing your night with us, because together, my friends, we're watching. We own the night. Mr. Bumblefoot, we need a favor. We need you to take us home. Have a great night, everybody. We're going to do it all again tomorrow. I hope all of you take the time to join us. I'll be here. How about you make some time for us? We're going to have some fun. Have a good night. See you tomorrow. Woo! Oh. That was fun. That was a fun show, everyone. Turn that off. Let's turn this off. Thanks, I'm done. Oh, yeah. That was fun, people. Fun time tonight. I got to fix my radio DJ for tomorrow. All right. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. And, wow, we had a lot of new listeners in. Thank you to Cali for bringing in a bunch of friends like that. That wasn't expected, but that was, like, really, really cool. Really, really cool. We really appreciate that. Oh, yes, yes. You know, this is a beanie. I didn't put the Marvin on tonight. Sorry, Corinth, the booking guide. Yeah, but you know what? I appreciate each and every one of you for tuning on in tonight. That was a lot of fun. A lot of fun. Oh. Yes. Look at that. We've been live for like 2 hours, 59 minutes, and 45 seconds. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. Make sure if you're on my team and you're a main listener of Spaced Out Radio, do me the favor, go over to Society's Rejects and make sure you hit that subscribe button there because Cali's pretty damn cool. Pretty damn cool. Yeah, as we say goodnight to everybody here. And your hair looks green, Dave. My hair looks green? I don't think so. I gotta look. Probably the lighting. Oh, I know why. I know why. Because on my background screen on my one broadcast screen has the green photo of my alien heads. That's why. So it's kind of glowing on over. That's why. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Yeah, that's what it is. It's exactly what it is. I hope you don't mind me having green hair. I had the worst leftovers for dinner tonight. Honestly, I had the worst leftovers for dinner tonight. And I was really looking forward to it. Like, we had this pasta dish last night, and it was really, really good. And then when we redid it, didn't taste very good today. It tasted like shit. I'm going to be honest with you. It tasted like shit. Smash that like button. Just don't do it gently. Smash it. Smash it. Thanks, Coach Sunny Dick. Appreciate it. Appreciate you taking the time for coming on in. Hey, Oz10, how you doing? Thank you for coming on in. Really appreciate that. We had a lot of fun tonight. With Cali May. It is kind of sexy on me. I'm not going to lie. Corinth, I'm not going to lie. Oh, there we go. It's my DJ Ashba logo. Formerly a Guns N' Roses. Go figure. It's the way I roll around here. It's always about a little GNR here, a little GNR there. You know how it goes. I got to load this program up because I have to edit here. Yes, it's editing time for Dave. Editing time. So, where'd this go? The Mandela Effect. The Mandela Effect. Still trips me out. I got to tell you, this is a good beanie right here. This is a good beanie. Dave, my stomach's being so upset. I haven't been able to barely eat anything. Everything sounds awful. Oh, yeah. I know that feeling. I know that feeling all too well. I know that feeling. Why is that loose? Hold on. No, that's still pretty tight there. Why is that bouncing like that? I don't know. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, the leftovers aren't very good. Weren't very good. No dude about it. All right. Like that. Trim that. No dude about it. I am Canadian. All right, there we go. Let's get this all up and running here. We got to amplify this. There we go. So now what I'm doing is I'm just editing the show. Editing the show. There we go. Dave's hair. Yes. Dave's hair is not a Mandela effect. It is not a... I didn't say Siri, you Momo.
For Dave's hair is not a Mandela effect. Check it out.
Did you hear that shit? See if we can make that happen again. Dave's hair is not a Mandela effect. Hey Siri, Dave's hair is not a Mandela effect.
Okay, I found this on the web for Dave's hair is not a Mandela effect. Check it out.
Well, the first time I didn't even say hey Siri and it happened. Weird. She's always listening, the bitch. Can't get away from her. All right, what do I got to do here? Oh, yes, I got to open this up here. Short. 1, 2. See how quickly I can do this today. Yeah, I'm hungry. I am hungry. What a time! What kind of time, Sandra? Hi, Sandra. Hi, Sandra. Hi, Sandra. And hi, Sandra. She's like, shut up, Dave. Shut up already, Dave. Hey, Dave, shut up. Hi, Sandra. All right. Well, I got to get some editing done here. In a parallel timeline, Dave is bald and his alien's name is Bambi. What kind of sicko are you there, Corrance? Honestly, what kind of sicko are you to be saying things like that? That's not very Christian, very obtuse. I hope your mustache falls off on one side. Hi, Sandra. Yeah, I went there. Nothing you can do about that. Oh my God, I said a Canadian there. I said a boot. Oh, Dave is hungry right now. Dave is very hungry like the wolf. I'm a total Duran Duran song right now. I feel like a hot potato. Shit. God damn it. Don't save that. Let's go a little bit more. Now let's copy that and see where this goes. Dave is hungry like the wolf. Sandra is doing the shut your mouth thing with her hand. Hoser like. Oh, Sandra went all hoser on it. That's the accent. Oh, hoser. Hoser. Very Canadian right there. All right, what is... Oh, that was... Okay. All right, I get that. That was the dead air right there. So that should be, okay, we're ending hour 2. That was no. That was a commercial and that got cut off right there. Okay, so let's just snap that up right there. All right, then we'll go like this. I see the boo-boo I made there, all because of these damn commercials. You sound Canadian, so Canadian right now. Sound Canadian, so Canadian, eh? Oh, yeah. What I wouldn't do to fucking go to Tim Hortons right now and grab myself a fucking chili and a fucking sandwich. Oh, wouldn't that feel good right now? Little chili sandwich action. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Be honest. Hoosier? Take off, eh? Take off, eh? All right, so let's get rid of that section. God, I wish this radio station would do this on their own. I really do. Hold on. Let's just... Oh, shit, I can't because I'm talking to you guys right now. Well, I got to go... and get this stuff edited so I could go to bed. But thank you so much for hanging out. We're going to do it all again tomorrow. Thank you to everybody. FAP twice. Who else? Sonny, Cali, and Al for all hitting the super chat tonight. Really appreciate that. That's really cool. Really cool. Thank you so much for that. And we will talk to you very, very soon.